very, very dedicated to the liberal point of view, extremely so. And that's all right. But here's the mistake that Colbert made, which led to his demise on CBS. It's not about hating Trump. It's not about low ratings. It's not about losing money. What Colbert did was set up a culture at CBS to censor other points of view. Now, I've been on late night TV over my career 75 times. Colbert would never book me, even though I'm the best-selling nonfiction author on earth. He wouldn't put me on. And he wouldn't put on anyone who did not share his far left view of the world. So all you got was liberal people yucking it up and demeaning conservative people. That is atrocious. And that is what led to Colbert's failure, if you want to use that word. Back in a moment. Feeling tired, foggy, or low on energy? Your cells might need a boost. That's why many turn to NAD+, a powerful product that supports energy and mental clarity. All Family Pharmacy offers fast shipping, no insurance needed, with more than 200 medications available. Choose what you need, and they'll take care of the rest. Go to allfamilypharmacy, one word, .com/Bill. Use code BILL10 to save 10% today. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
This hour, the Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor for all your roofing needs. Visit ConnorRoofing.com. That's CONNER Roofing.com. Vic Porcelli.
Come on, you're Italian. You understand.
Every day is a busy day all of a sudden.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Tough and smart, and I love Italian, so, he's definitely Italian.
At least I have this show to come and talk about it and let some stuff up.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Good morning, freedom fighters. Kenny Williams.
Good morning, Vic.
How are you, baby?
I'm good. I'm really good.
All right, another work week right upon us here, and here we go. Rob Bluey will be along in just a sec. Also, That's Crap at 9:25. The Edstoid edition of That's Crap.
Yes.
Stefan Padfield, I love this phrase. Why activist shareholders are essential, not improper. You have to speak up. You have to speak your mind.
You have to, yeah.
And that's what he does. Karen Kataline. Okay, so I watched the Billy Joel documentary, and so it goes. 2 parts, 2.5 hours each. It's fabulous. It is fabulous when I tell you. And we'll play a little bit of that for her that pertains to her. Tyler Gray, he's coming back. He's awesome.
Yeah.
Gray Matter, right? Isn't that Gray Matter? Breaking Bad?
Yeah, it's Breaking Bad for sure.
All right, Kenny, who leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Jay Ashcroft.
Oh, former Secretary of State, former friend of ours, not a friend of ours.
He's a friend of ours.
He is?
Yes.
He hasn't called, has he?
No.
No, he hasn't. Go ahead, Secretary.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. All right, Ken, before we get to Rob, Dan Bongino had a very cryptic post on X over the weekend, and it said that some of the things he saw, I think the quote was, shook him to his core.
Yes.
And, they're going to find out what's going on here. The investigation will be, upright and transparent. And I don't know. Nobody knows what he's talking about.
And everybody can have an assessment, and I have one.
Let's hear it.
Okay, I just believe briefly that he's putting that out there to say to people who actually care about his thoughts that things are happening. So just sit tight.
Yes. And on an emotional level, he said he expressed emotional distress over what he's learned and what he's seen.
Correct.
So,
but he wouldn't throw that out there if he didn't have something to,
buckle up.
Buckle up.
For what you're going to hear.
I agree.
All right. Bluey! Good morning, Rob Bluey.
It's a beautiful day in Washington, D.C.
It's a busy Monday after a busy weekend. I'll tell you, this president never slows down, does he?
From the Heritage Foundation, of course, and president and executive editor of the Daily Signal.
There is going to be no shortage of news today.
Rob Bluey, how are you?
I'm great. It's good to talk to you, Vic and Ken. It's another great Monday here in the nation's capital.
Good morning, Rob.
And President Trump just rolling along, more winning. The biggest thing I'm happy about the most is $750 billion of European money for U.S. energy, which means oil, gas, and it's also bad for Russia, isn't it?
Yeah, and kind of like that post that you were just talking about from Dan Bongino, we have to remember that we are accustomed to things moving very quickly in Trump world, and maybe we've become a little bit too spoiled. But when it comes to these trade deals, these things take time. And I think that if we give President Trump the benefit of the doubt and the patience to carry out these negotiations, we'll see more like we saw yesterday with the European Union, and a huge victory for the United States in this particular case. All of those people who were critical of President Trump and said that the tariffs were going to cause massive, economic harm and devastation, they probably are second guessing maybe some of their thoughts today with the big announcement. And so we'll ultimately see what the president's able to do with other countries. But this is a big one. You're absolutely right. It's a moment to celebrate.
And with oil, first of all, the markets are just going wild, right? S&P had another record high, but the energy, the oil, right? Once this kicks in and the oil kicks in, the gas price goes down, and after at the Circle K,
right?
Then filling up the reserves. Then with that money, because this was his plan in the first term, Rob, I think, was with all the energy and the oil to lower the deficit with that money.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. Just in our lifetime, Vic, it's amazing to think how transformational this country's energy production has become. I mean, you hear Chris Wright, the energy secretary, talk about this all of the time. We went from a country that was dependent on others like OPEC and Middle Eastern countries, think back to the 1970s and the crisis that Jimmy Carter oversaw, to today, where the United States can control its own destiny if it wants to. Sadly, after 4 years of Trump's first term, Joe Biden came in and shut down a lot of that production. So Trump has restarted it. There's obviously more work to be done when it comes to that, but it's another reason to be very optimistic about the revenues that the United States could generate from being a oil and natural gas provider to the rest of the world, as opposed to being an importer. And so I am one of those all of the above energy guys, but I also think we need to be realistic, and the steps that Barack Obama and Joe Biden put us down when it came to renewable energy certainly were detrimental to this country's being able to thrive. And I would hope that those on the left understand that even President Trump, you may not like all of his policies, you might not like the way he wants to do things, but I mean, he is a conservationist at heart. I mean, he wants clean water and clean air, and there are certainly methods and energy sources that you can accomplish that with the technology that exists today. And so that's what we're seeing under this administration. They're certainly opening up more areas for exploration, and that's a good thing in the long term for all Americans. And I think hopefully for those of us who care about the debt and deficit, it's an opportunity to reduce that as well.
Ken, you got anything on this?
Yeah, well, Rob, you mentioned energy alternatives. What are your thoughts on nuclear? Do you think we'll be getting more nuclear plants out there?
Oh, you guys should talk to Jack Spencer at the Heritage Foundation. He just wrote a book called Nuclear Revolution, and he is very bullish about what Secretary Wright is doing at the Energy Department when it comes to nuclear. This is an area that has been far too heavily government subsidized. Basically, the government has come in and tried to incentivize nuclear power through a whole bunch of subsidies. And what Jack is saying is get government out of the way and just let the private sector flourish, and nuclear will take off. Anytime you have the government trying to pick winners and losers, it's not a good thing. I mean, look at renewable wind, solar, and those those types of energy sources, it just did not materialize despite efforts by Obama and Biden to try to do so. And so, yes, nuclear energy is certainly on the growth path. If you look at what some of the European countries, I'm thinking of Germany specifically, have done to curtail nuclear energy and then become dependent on Russia for their energy needs, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, particularly since it's such a clean power source. And so I'm hopeful that Jack is right, and that the predictions that he's made in his book will come to pass here in the Trump administration.
All right, so we got to talk about Tulsi Gabbard and what she found, and the evidence against this cabal led by Barack Obama to try to tell us. I mean, if you think about this in the Occam's razor universe, the most logical answer is the right answer. They try to make us believe that Trump colluded with the Russians to win the 2016 election. That had to be some sort of nefarious thing, and she found it.
Yeah, it's the talk of the town for sure. Even if it's not the talk of the legacy media, I'll tell you that they want to bury this as far away from the front page and certainly any news broadcasts. And I think that when the Media Research Center does its analysis, they will most likely find that this story probably is not getting the attention that it deserves. Remember, this was probably more so than any other issue in late 2016, early 2017, and then throughout, the first couple of years of Trump's term. One of the most covered stories, certainly the narrative that drove a lot of the conversation in Washington, D.C., and I would argue a huge distraction from President Trump to be able to implement the agenda that the American people sent him to Washington to do. And now we find out all of these details about Obama and his deep state allies and what they were trying to do. And so I give Tulsi Gabbard a lot of credit for just being transparent with the American people. Let them draw their own conclusions, obviously. If they don't want to believe it, they don't necessarily have to. But now at least they have the information before their own eyes where they can make a determination as to what actually was going on behind the scenes and why we were treated to this story that turned out to be a complete hoax.
Kristen Mulker on Meet the Press, she looks like she's been told to say, this is ridiculous. Barack Obama would never do anything like
Barack
this.
Obama said this is ridiculous, and so did Eric Holder.
And so I'm sure somebody got to her to say it on the airwaves, is what I'm saying.
Right. No, I totally agree with that.
Yes. I'm not surprised that though some of those individuals in the news media who were the biggest boosters of the Trump-Russia collusion story are now the ones who are embarrassed to cover the findings that Tulsi Gabbard has outlined, and they should absolutely cover them. It's incumbent upon journalists to do those follow-up stories. In this particular case, I would say that it's probably embarrassing to realize how they were used by the intelligence community in Washington, D.C. quite cleverly. These leaks come out. I mean, this happens all the time, or at least it did prior to Trump. And this is how they go about undermining certain individuals or pushing a certain agenda that they would like to see the news media advance. And that's absolutely what happened under Barack Obama's watch.
And this is so frustrating, Rob, because we played last week. Well, it was actually an 8-minute collage of anchors and people in the media. I'm talking about the legacy Pfizer media, actually parroting the whole Russia collusion thing against Trump the whole time he was president and leading up to his presidency the first time around. But now they get away with it. Now it's like as if it never, ever happened. Do you think that the American people see through this now?
I do. And I'd say that on the one hand, yes, they are getting away with it because what are the ramifications? I mean, basically people stop trusting them or stop tuning in to the broadcast or stop subscribing to their newspaper and things like that. But again, I mean, that's been happening now for years, if not decades.
Right.
And that's thanks to shows like yours. The American people, fortunately, have an alternative that they can tune into to get their news and information. They don't have to rely on 3 major broadcast networks and a handful of national newspapers. They can go to multiple different sources, and they're smart enough to decipher and use their critical thinking skills to figure out that they're being peddled misinformation and lies from these legacy media outlets. And so the accountability, I think, comes on the part of the audience, and just making sure that they are viewing things more critically and skeptically than maybe they did in the past. And then whenever the Pew Research Institute or Gallup or any of these polling firms do these surveys, and they say, what do you trust? They call it mainstream media or legacy media, however you would want to define it, and you see those numbers plummet. That is a reflection of what we're talking about now. They don't have trust in ABC or CBS or the other outlets, primarily because they know that they've been lied to.
All right. So you were on CNN on Friday after Trump's meeting with Jerome Powell, the Fed chair. And I love your quote. President Trump should have reprised his role from The Apprentice and told Jerome Powell, "You're fired."
You're fired.
Yeah, I have to say, Vic, this is one where I am with those members of Congress who want to put an end to the Fed and really hold those accountable. We're just talking about accountability in the media. How about holding those accountable for jacking up the cost of living for all of us over the course of the last 5 years, which President Trump is now trying to clean up that mess. Do I think he'll do it? No, probably not. I don't think he'll fire Powell. I think he recognizes that his term is going to be up, and he will just try to find a better replacement. You'll recall that in Trump's first term, he did pick a couple of really stellar nominees for the Federal Reserve Board, including Steve Moore, who spent many years at the Heritage Foundation, and the Democrats just went berserk and did everything they could to torpedo those nominees. Now, I don't think Jerome. If you were to ask Joe Biden, I don't think Jerome Powell did Joe Biden any favors by hitting the printing so much money during COVID, because that was what ultimately did in Biden and so many of the policies. Now, Biden was an accomplice of this by jacking up federal spending as well and getting willing Democrats to go along with it in Congress. But just that is so important, I think, for people to remember that the government printing all this money and going on the spending spree is what caused inflation. And now what Trump's trying to do is not only lower interest rates, but restrain some of that spending. And we saw that with the One Big Beautiful Bill. We shouldn't forget about that important aspect of the One Big Beautiful Bill, and the rescissions package, the first one that passed since 1999, and Trump signed into law. So he's making progress. There's a long way to go, but this is one of those things that I think you can't take your foot off the gas. You need to keep plowing forward.
And, no coincidence that, Jerome Powell constructing new buildings for the Fed. No wonder he didn't want to lower the interest rates.
Well, and this is what's so infuriating. You see Trump and Powell there having that conversation and disputing, is it 2.5 or 3.1 billion? It's like the number is just so huge to begin with. I mean, and as Trump said, the largest construction project in Washington D.C. And you're wondering, why do these bureaucrats need such a beautiful, the Taj Mahal of Washington? I mean, it is ridiculous to think that they're spending taxpayer money in this way to begin with. And so good for Trump to call him out on it. And hopefully there will be more scrutiny from Congress and other people who truly are in a position to conduct the oversight.
When you're meeting with Trump, Ken, and he goes to that breast pocket and pulls something out of that breast pocket, you're screwed right there. All right, Rob Bluey from the Heritage Foundation, and of course the Daily Signal, where he happens to be the president and executive editor. Rob, thank you so much, sir.
Thanks, guys. Have a great week.
Yeah, you too, Rob.
He should. You're fired. Jerome, you're fired.
Well, yeah, he's standing there with him, and Jerome Powell's argument was, well, that's another building. He said, yeah, well, that's all the whole thing.
Right.
It's still money. It's still the money that the taxpayers are paying.
He didn't know what to say.
Okay? He really didn't.
Trump had him against the wall. He reached into that breast pocket. One of the times in the past that Trump reached into that breast pocket, he had a satellite video of the head of the Taliban's house, and then he walked away. Lots to do today. Very busy Monday. That's Crap is next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL, number one for live and local conservative talk.
Follow us on Rumble at News Talk STL. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Prominent leaders are leaders. Breathe oxygen under the rocks it's hiding in.
On News Talk STL.
Joe Biden's mental acuity was so bad, Ken, that the liberals had to say, yeah, let's say Trump doesn't have mental acuity.
That's right.
I mean, are they stupid? Did they not listen to the show and hear all that stuff you play?
That's why I'm bringing some of it back.
Absolutely.
Man, we got to rimind people.
And you know what? Maybe we wouldn't if they wouldn't be so stupid talking about Trump's mental capacity.
Exactly right.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
It's so stupid.
You do that better, I think, than I do. All right, Roots Plus. Stan is the tree whisperer, is what he is. Premier tree solution services and innovative root solutions, not just tree removal and pruning. I mean, they will prune your tree and they will remove your tree if it's dead. But what if it's just on life support? Well, that's where Roots Plus comes in, because they are life support. They will try to save that tree with their patented system, and they will work with you to save the tree first. But if that's not possible, then you can they'll remove the tree for you. But here's the good news. Everything you spent trying to save the tree goes towards tree removal if it doesn't work. So it's risk-free, really. And the crews are great. They're friendly. They're nice. They're great at what they do. So get in touch with Roots Plus, phone number 314-440-3662 or rootsplusllc.com.
The tides are changing.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
The Democratic Party doesn't stand with what I stand for.
News Talk STL.
Irrigation systems are put through the stress test throughout our hot Heartland summers when temperatures skyrocket and rain is scarce. Tim Jones here for Hydrodynamics Core, which you should call today to make sure your irrigation system is running at peak performance. This is critical to ensure your lawn and foliage remain lush and lovely, and that your grass and plants thrive instead of just barely survive. Schedule a monthly system checkup today with Hydrodynamics Core to make sure your irrigation system is working at its best. That's hydrodynamicscore.com, hydrodynamicscore.com.
Getting new flooring can be exciting, or it can be a hassle. To make sure you have a great experience, use Michael's Flooring, like I did. Hi, it's Susie Moore, and Michael's Flooring has become my go-to for quality, variety, and an all-around great experience. They've been locally owned and operated for more than 30 years. Carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, natural stone, luxury vinyl, it doesn't matter. Michael's Flooring is ready to help. 3 locations to pick from: St. Peter's, Darting Prairie, and Creve Coeur, or online at igotfloor.com. That's igotfloor.com.
I think you're a little confused.
News, analysis, opinion.
I've got something to say and I can't hold it any longer.
101.9 and 94.1.
You won't hear the truth anywhere but here. News Talk STL.
News Talk STL. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Never rat on your friends and always keep your mouth shut.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Well done, Ken Williams. Well done.
Thank you, sir.
Stop showing off. All right. So a couple of things. We're going to do that scrap here in just a second. After that scrap, Ken, if we have time, I would like to, because we were talking about Chuck Mangione that died.
Who?
Chuck Mangione. And we argued, you know, millions of people say Mangione. Well, guess what? I say Mangione. Have my whole life. So
right.
You told me, well, what does your wife say? So I didn't fix it. I asked her, who does this
Point
song?
blank,
And
without
she gave
any
me an
prep,
answer.
no prep at all,
nothing.
huh? Okay.
She
All
gave me
right.
an answer, and then we'll discuss that after this edition.
All right.
Of That's crap. Don't be huffing and puffing at me.
Welcome to That's Crap. It's the game where we find out if it's the truth or if that's crap. Here's the host of That's Crap, Vic Porcelli.
Thank you, Jim Modlin, very much. Oh, studio audience, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
They're awful up and ready to go for a Monday.
They are. They're ready to go. They love That's Crap. It's their favorite game show.
I think so.
All right. So as Jim said, it's the truth or it's crap. One or the other. It's a dichotomy. Can't be both. And today is a very special edition of That's Crap. It's the Ed Stoid edition of That's Crap. So our contestant today was a representative for a while, a Republican, and then completely turned on President Trump. And she was one of the chairs of that J6 committee that we talk about all the time that completely rigged the game against Trump.
Yeah.
All right. So the category today is witness tampering. Ken, put 40 seconds on the clock. Liz, good luck.
After our last hearing, President Trump tried to call a witness in our investigation, a witness you have not yet seen in these hearings. That person declined to answer or respond to President Trump's call and instead alerted their lawyer to the call. Their lawyer alerted us, and this committee has supplied that information to the Department of Justice. Let me say one more time, we will take any effort to influence witness testimony very seriously. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
But Ken, will they take it seriously if they're the ones that are trying to tamper with witnesses, or just Donald Trump?
Probably they won't take it seriously the other way around. They wouldn't do that.
So the truth of the whole matter is, and the House report on the J6 committee says that Cheney coached Cassidy Hutchinson to change her testimony without a lawyer being present. Do you remember Cassidy Hutchinson's testimony that Donald Trump lunged at the wheel?
Yeah. Of the beast that they called it, and then Dan Bongino said, "No such thing as a beast." Sorry,
I believe him before I believe anybody else.
Right.
Because the beast may have just been a thing that the media made up.
Yeah.
Remember the Boonie Hat Bandit? For a while, he was robbing banks, and he wore a Boonie hat, whatever the hell that is.
Yeah, I don't know.
That was the FBI who gave him that nickname.
Oh, that name. Yeah. Dan Bongino finally said, "Okay, I'll call it the beast," but just because everybody kept saying it. He's like, "Well, that's fine. Okay, whatever."
So does Liz Cheney face consequences for the lie she made, the Ed Stoit lie she made? Because everything Democrats say, the opposite is true. Boy, Ed Stoit could not be. This is the biggest example of Ed Stoit we can give you.
Pretty much so. And the fact is, they didn't get representation. The J6 prisoners did not. We did not have it was not a fair investigation because there was only one side, really.
That's right. So I'm sorry, Liz Cheney, but that's crap. When in history, Ken, have you ever seen a more, let's call it a kangaroo court? It wasn't a court proceeding, but like you just said, there was nobody there to testify on President Trump's behalf. Nobody.
Well, they lied out of the gate to the American people, Vic, because they said, "Well, there's representation. You have this Adam, what's the soy boy?
Kinzinger.
Yeah, Kinzinger.
And her.
Cryer, and then her. And they're not representatives of conservatives in any way, shape, or form."
Instead of Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger, it was supposed to be Jim Jordan and Jim Banks.
Right.
Who the whole thing would have been different if that were the case. So nobody to testify on behalf of President Trump. They never brought up President Trump saying, "Go march peacefully and patriotically." They never played that.
No.
They tried to, railroad Josh Hawley running down the hallway. They made him look like he was a little fairy, running away from something.
Look at him. He's running away before anybody else even
What
thought
was
of
the
it.
truth? What was the truth?
The truth is that he was the last person out of there, making sure that everybody else was
I'll
out.
be damned.
Yeah.
The bravest one out of all.
Oh, no, it couldn't be possible.
So Liz Cheney sucks, and that's all the time we have for That's Crap.
This is Jim Modulin speaking for That's Crap, a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman radio production.
Thank you, Jim Modulin. This is Vic Porcelli saying, help control the pet population. Have your pet spayed or neutered. Goodbye, everybody. All right, so I want to go back to Friday. When, first of all, what a terrible week, right? Chuck Mangione, Hulk Hogan, Malcolm Jamal Warner, all in the same week. I think I'm even missing somebody.
Yeah.
But Chuck Mangione was one of the people who died last week.
Sounds so weird when you say it that way.
It sounds weird to me to hear you say
Chuck Mangione.
Yeah, I hate that. So my contention is maybe I'm wrong. Okay, but
so you're willing to investigate and find out, what's what.
I don't want to investigate in a J6 committee kind of way. I want to investigate in a fair and
fair and balanced,
fair and balanced and transparent way. So, it was suggested to me, why don't you go home and ask your wife what she says, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm like driving home, like, oh my God, if she says Mangione, I'm going to be so pissed off. Because that's not what we said growing up.
Right.
Do you understand? And I still contend.
And you're in New Jersey, so,
Yes. If you remember back to a Porcelli's Deli, actually years ago, this was when we were still at the Powerhouse. I told you guys how to speak Nabladan.
Right.
Like we do.
Right.
And I think this is part of it, because we don't say provolone, we say provolone. Mangione, provolone.
Okay.
Like that. So I went home and I swear to God as my witness, no witness tampering. I did no witness tampering in this.
Okay.
I just asked my wife a very simple, basic question. Okay, Ken, I'm here with my wife, Jessica, and I'm asking her the question, who had the #1 hit with Feel So Good playing the flugelhorn? What is that man's name?
Chuck Mangione.
Ha!
I love your response.
I was joyous. I was joyous.
You were.
That she said Mangione. So, what about your wife?
Well, I was just going to say, that's what I should do then. I need to go to my, because she's from St. Louis, and she's heard, and the only thing is her approach has to, she's not listening right now, by the way, because she's at work, but I'm going to have to, I don't know, she wouldn't know what you said to Jessica.
Right, of course.
Okay?
Yeah, right.
So I'm going to have to probably play a song.
That's
play
fine.
the song. Who is this person?
Will they get it? Will she get it?
I think she might get it then. So I'm going to have to do that tonight and then bring you back my report tomorrow.
You can even write down his name if you want. I'll even give you that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
so I'll play the music and I'll just say, who is this guy? Who is this?
Right, what's his name? How do you pronounce his name?
How do you pronounce it? Oh,
right.
And she'll go, oh.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you play my wife again, saying Chuck Mangione?
Yeah.
Thanks. Ha! That's me. And I'm asking her the question, who had the #1 hit with Feel So Good playing the flugelhorn? What is that man's name?
Chuck Mangione.
Ha. What? Say it. What do you want to say?
Chuck Mangione.
Thank you very much, baby. I love you. All right, so that's that. All right, very quickly, I know we're late, but we can even do this over the music if you want, Ken. Friday night, my wife and I went out to the Young Republicans Trivia Night.
Yes.
At the Republicans headquarters there in Fenton, which is going away, by the way. It's very expensive. And that was kind of their last hurrah in that building.
Oh, okay.
So they're going to have to find a new place. But Frank Catanzaro, the head of the Young Republicans, just a great kid. He really is. Said the name of the station like 100 times. Had Tim and I stand up and everything.
He's a fun guy to hang around too. So
yeah, he really is. So thanks for having us. We appreciate it. Sorry we sucked at answering trivia questions. Ken.
It's not about that, I don't think.
Some of them were so hard. Some of them were so hard.
And some of the people who go into those trivia things are like ringers. Like they travel the country.
They do. And they make a lot of money doing it. But what really pisses me off, no category called Summer Olympic Cities. Not one. What?
I kind of thought there might be. I really did.
Yeah, right. Because it happens all the time at trivia nights.
All the time. It actually does sometimes.
All right. So being an activist shareholder is more than just being a shareholder. You can't be quiet. You have to be able to speak up. Activist shareholders are essential, not improper. We'll talk to Stefan Padfield from the Free Enterprise Project next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL, #1 for live and local conservative talk.
Whoosh.
The Vic Porcelli Show, made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
So this kiss cam thing won't go away.
Mm-mm.
Some of it's so funny, Ken. I mean, the Philly fanatic and his Philly fanatic girlfriend were standing in that same pose.
Yeah.
With her in front of him and his arms around her, and then they see the camera and they do the exact same motion as the CEO of that company did. And I would just like to remind you, going back a while now, it was Valentine's Day, actually.
Yeah.
Chris Cooper and his wife Stacy were here, and it was the end of the conversation. And I looked up at the screen and I was like, "Oh my God, they're on Kiss Cam!" And they kissed, no problems, nothing to hide,
nothing to hide at all.
Husband and wife,
no problem, not needing to sue anyone for your your mistakes.
Right. So anyway, that's Chris Cooper, just that kind of guy. Chris Cooper also knows a whole lot about finance. Matter of fact, his radio show is filled with
fun with finance,
but it's called Serenity Wealth Now, and it's on Sunday mornings at 9:00. Chris is very smart guy, very low key guy. He's the kind of guy, I'm sure you know people like this. He's the kind of guy that whenever you're around him, it's always a good atmosphere.
Yeah,
he's great. He's friendly. He's funny. He doesn't take himself too seriously, but what he talks about is serious, but you wouldn't know it, right? So when you leave this earth, you don't want to leave your money to the government. That would be stupid, right? You don't want to leave your money to the medical or care community. God bless them, but they're very expensive. And it's kids and charity of your choice. That's where you want your money to go. So why don't you get Chris's free book? It's called The New Holistic Retirement. Get it at SerenityNowTax.com. SerenityNowTax.com. Serenity Now. Chris Cooper.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors.
Serenity Now! Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Did Donald Trump and Republicans make everything great again over the weekend? We'll discuss with Senator Jim Talent at 4:25. At 5:25, Red State Headlines with Susie Moore.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
Hey, Mike Ferguson here. And for nearly 40 years, Nutrition Stop has been St. Peter's trusted source for natural living. They've got a great, knowledgeable staff offering more than just products. They provide guidance on your wellness journey with exceptional service, from 100% grass-fed meats like elk and bison and local produce to quality supplements and clean household products. 4101 Mexico Road in St. Peter's, just off the interstate at Cave Springs and Highway 70.
This hour, the Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor for all your roofing needs. Visit ConnorRoofing.com. That's CONNER Roofing.com. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Smitty Werbin Jagerman Jensen.
True international effort to pressure. Smitty Werbin Jagerman Jensen. He doesn't involve our institution. I just. See no loss. See no so long as
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
I love the name Smitty Warbin Yankerman Jensen.
I love it.
Is that Italian? Is that an Italian name?
I think so, actually.
Hey, News Talk STL and the Hammond Center for Free Enterprise are bringing Steve Forbes to Lindenwood University at the Great Scheidegger Center. That's September 18th. And it's all with the help of the Young America's Foundation and West and Mid Rivers News magazines. Want to be there? It's free. Just sign up at NewstalkSTL.com. All right, Stefan Padfield from the National Center for Public Policy Research. We hear about him all the time, you know, raising hell at shareholders meetings. Now there's an actual lawsuit, National Center for Public Policy Research versus Schultz. This is the Starbucks case. Good morning, Stefan. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. What about this case?
Yeah, so actually the case has already come and gone. The reason I wrote an op-ed about it is because it keeps getting cited in a way that makes it sound like it's good precedent when it's really not. And really quickly, what happened was we sued Starbucks in Seattle because that's their state of incorporation, and we were in Washington, and we were bringing a breach of fiduciary duty suit as shareholders. And the claim was basically that the way in which Starbucks was tying executive compensation to diversity quotas was harmful to the corporation and a breach of duty. And the judge in that case basically kicked us out of court and had a series of pronouncements that were just ridiculous. Things like, well, you don't like DEI. We know that from your public statements, you being us, the National Center. So therefore, you have an agenda that is contrary to shareholders, which is absurd when you think about the fact that when DEI is illegal, which it is when it uses quotas, that is perfectly aligned with shareholder interests. So anyway, I could go on and on. I've written about it in multiple places, but the reason I've written about it now is because other cases are citing that case positively. And I just want to nip that in the bud and try to get the message out as clearly as possible that just because we are a nonprofit doesn't mean we don't represent the interests of shareholders. The question simply needs to be, is our agenda aligned with that of shareholders? And that's a very easy win for us. Now, real quick, because everybody always asks, well, why didn't you appeal if it was so bad? That judge actually threatened us with serious financial sanctions if we were to proceed. And so we simply couldn't take the risk, because even if you think you're 99% correct, there's always a risk that you're going to come out on the losing end. And the financial risks that judge put in our way, basically to prevent review, was just too much. So it's still a live case that can be cited, but I think quite improperly, and that's why I wrote the op-ed that I did.
Yeah, which I'm looking at right now. So your case is like the precedent? Is that what we're going to see?
Yeah, so now that case is sitting out there as good law, other defendants are citing it as saying, hey, look, because you do have a number of nonprofit organizations that also hold shares in companies and use those shares to try to hold corporations accountable. And that can be done improperly or properly, but just some blanket statement that because they're nonprofits, they can't be proper plaintiffs is problematic. And let me just say what the standard here is basically, right? So when you bring a claim, you have to have a proper purpose. And that purpose needs to be aligned with the interest of shareholders in the corporation. So if, for example, you're just getting access or trying to get access to the books and records because you want to sell cars to all the shareholders, that's not a proper purpose, right? And in the very famous case that I cite in our opinion, the guy bought the shares because he didn't like what the company was doing in connection with making munitions for the Vietnam War. And he expressly said that he had no care or concern whatsoever about the shareholder impact, right? So that's very distinguishable from organizations like us who say, look, we are here, like the Free Enterprise Project, where I work, exists to keep companies from going woke, from going broke by going woke, right? It's absolutely aligned. Yeah. So this is the bottom line, is that it's getting cited. And the other problem was in that case where it was cited in the briefing, the defendants, or I should say the plaintiffs who were bringing the suit, basically argued that, yeah, that's good law, but it doesn't apply to us, which I think is very much the wrong tactic. It should just be, that's a bad case. Don't even follow that analysis. I'll give you one other example. The judge basically said, it's not the court's position to deal with these issues. If you don't like what Starbucks is doing, just sell your shares. But that's like saying, if we bring actual tangible evidence of illegal discrimination, that somehow the courts aren't the proper venue for that. That's completely ludicrous.
Right.
So anyway, lots of problems, and that's what that op-ed is about. And, clearly you can tell I'm fired up about it because I think it's just so wrong.
It is wrong. So, is this judge, was he like an Obama appointed judge or a Biden appointed judge? Do we know where this guy stands?
I'm pretty sure. So Washington State Democrat appointee in Seattle. And all the sort of priors, I think in one of the places that I've written about this, I give a little bit of the background. So nothing surprising about the priors and certainly what seems like some apparent bias, but just, even putting that aside, just purely as a matter of legal reasoning, there's a number of serious problems. Here's another one, right? So there's a presumption that corporations get that they are acting in the best interest of the corporation on a fully informed basis, right? And in good faith. And the shareholders who bring a suit like we were have to overcome that presumption. And the court basically said we hadn't shown any evidence of that. But what it completely ignored is that a knowing violation of the law always rebuts the presumption. And if you are discriminating on the basis of race, you either know or should know that's illegal, right? And so, again, there's sort of a litany of problems. And so it's very concerning to me that that case is being cited and litigated in a way that just accepts it as precedent. And, you know, I used to be a law professor, so I've seen this a number of times where a bad case comes down and then people just start citing it. And then all of a sudden, you don't even get a discussion anymore about the case. It's just, we just cite this case for this proposition and everybody just nods, right? So we need to nip that in the bud quite quickly. And lastly, I'll just say, I am not trying to dismiss concerns about activist shareholders who don't have the best interest of the corporation in mind, you know, who are just trying to advance ideological agendas and are basically wasting corporate time and corporate dollars. I do think that's a problem and something that we need to, push back against. But that's not what we're doing when we bring these suits.
Okay, we're talking to Stefan Padfield from the Free Enterprise Project and the National Center for Public Policy Research. All right, Stefan, I got a bunch of questions based on all the stuff you just said. First
you can tell I just had a cup of coffee, can't you?
Yeah, and I'm on my second. So here we go. I'm revving up. All right. First of all, just as a blanket statement, justice, because of the judge, you know, what you just talked about, and he was probably an Obama or a Biden appointee, justice is no longer blind. We should not know how a judge feels politically because justice is blind, but not anymore.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. And to some extent, there is a pretty long history here. And I really do, again, going back to I taught law school for over 15 years. And one of the things, as a law professor, you want to do is try to avoid that sort of cynicism in your law students, right? You acknowledge the reality that people are people and their biases are going to be relevant. And there's even been some great studies that have shown, depending on whether or not, there was just one came out just recently that showed if the Louisiana state judges who graduated from LSU, if you got a ruling from them after LSU lost a football game, your likelihood of going to jail longer just went up, like it's statistically significant, right? So we're dealing with human beings. They have their biases. We get that. But really, the whole point of the system that we have is to have the checks and balances, right? And I do think at the end of the day, even as bad as that opinion was, if it wasn't for the financial, penalty threat, we would have appealed, and I think it would have been very difficult for an appellate court, 3-judge or 5-judge, whatever it might have been, to check off on all of that analysis. And if we were in a different situation, maybe we would have even rolled the dice on that. So I do still have faith in the system that there are enough checks and balances. But clearly, the faith of the American people in the judiciary has really taken some significant hits lately, and that is very troubling and problematic. And so it's another area where we really need to insist on ways in which we hold our judiciary, as well as every other part of our government, accountable for getting as close to balanced and neutral as possible.
I'm just thinking, if this were turned around a little bit, and it was a DEI discrimination against Black people, then I think this judge might not have had the same response.
Yeah, you and I, we like to place the occasional bet. I think I would put a crisp $100 bill down that if the suit that we were bringing was alleging that Starbucks was discriminating against historically oppressed, marginalized groups and individuals, I think we would have probably been right to the trial.
And I think another phrase should be shareholders matter. That's the whole system. Buy stock in a company, want the company to do good, make money. Shareholders matter.
Yes, absolutely. And, we hear the phrase shareholder democracy a lot. And just like in our own country, that can be taken to an extreme, right? We're not a just straight up democracy. We have a Republican form of government. And similarly with corporations, we have a board of directors. They get a lot of discretion for very good reasons, but there are just points at which the shareholders have to have input and have a say, right? Comes to election of directors, shareholders get to vote. Have a merger, shareholders get to vote. And similarly, we have fiduciary duties that are owed to shareholders. And so as shareholders, we have rights to ask for inspection of books and records, to bring lawsuits. And yes, there have to be guardrails to make sure those rights aren't abused. But what is going on in these cases that I'm talking about is almost taking an entire swath of shareholders. And here's the point I think is the most troubling. It's basically like saying if you raise any ethical concerns as a shareholder, then you're not allowed to talk about the governance and bottom line dollar concerns, right? Which again is just, once you realize that that's what's being put forth, it's just crazy and not efficient at all.
I'd like to remind you the title of Stefan's piece is called Why Activist Shareholders Are Essential, Not Improper. Okay, so let's just change gears here a little bit. You mentioned your role. I'm sorry, no, one more thing before that. Tell us quickly about the proposal with Tesla on the lithium mining and child labor that Jennifer Granholm didn't tell us while she was the Secretary of Energy.
Yeah, right. So basically, we have filed a proposal, and often when we file these proposals, we submit them directly to the company, or we always submit them directly to the company first. And often we'll keep that private to allow for negotiations without any sort of public light. But there's also good reasons to just publicize it, and many shareholders in our position do, and we have in the past. And this was a time that we've done that. We basically filed it with Tesla and went right out and did the press release and said, look, we have concerns about the child labor implications of the mining that is necessary for these batteries, right? Now, some people might scratch their head and say, gee, that seems a little off base for your group, given your sort of history. But there's two points I think are worth making. So one, clearly, child labor is a problem that I think most people can get around protecting against, right? And it's actually something that should generate bipartisan support, and we can use some more of those things, right? Issues where people from both sides of the aisle can get together and say, yep, we need to get some transparency here. We need to make sure this is all being done above board, right? Secondly, part of our perspective is this is a problem that is inherent in the climate cultist agenda, right? You're sort of rushing forward to create this net zero universe and get rid of fossil fuels, and you completely ignore things like the fact that, oh, and by the way, to make that happen so you can drive your happy little Teslas, we've got to put these children in these mines, right? Which again, it's one thing if that's been thoroughly discussed, but I meet people all the time who don't even realize that's going on. So that's basically why we filed the proposal. And what we're really just looking for is making sure that this is being properly accounted for and properly disclosed, and that there aren't any violations of, when we talk about child labor, some people will say, well, those children, those families would be better off if they're working than if they're not. And that's true, but there is a line at which everyone, I think, would agree, right? Like, let's just take, for example, 8-year-olds working in mines without safety gear, right? I think everybody's going to say, or the majority of people are going to say that's a problem. So those are the sorts of conversations we want to have, and that's the goal of our proposal.
All right. And finally, you mentioned that you were a law professor, and I know you like to play poker. Do you ever use poker strategy in your law class?
I have. When I was teaching, I would occasionally talk about, because one of the things, especially teaching business law, is trying to get lawyers to think like business people, because most business people actually hate lawyers, because lawyers just come in the room and mess up the good deals by pointing out all the ways it can go wrong, right? And so I try to encourage the students to think like business people, and business people think in terms of risk, right? They think in terms of expected value calculations. And as you know, that's what you're doing at the poker table very often, right?
Absolutely.
I'm going to probably lose this flush draw, but if it hits, am I going to make enough money to offset the times that I lose, right? And that's the sort of business thinking and in fact, I think I remember reading that long ago, that a lot of the investment banks used to put their young associates to go play poker precisely for that reason, to get comfortable with risk, thinking in terms of risk and expected value, right?
Love it. Stefan Padfield, he is from the National Center for Public Policy Research and the Free Enterprise Project. Always great, Stefan. The next time you make some noise and start some trouble, we want to hear about it, okay?
Thank you so much. Great to talk to you.
You got it. Being a lawyer, I think you need some poker skills, right? Being able to read people.
Oh, I absolutely think so.
Call their bluff.
Yes.
Right?
That's a good call, Vic. That was nice.
Thanks, Kenny. All right, listen, Karen Kataline is next. I watched the Billy Joel documentary over the weekend, and some of it has to do with our favorite Jewish friend. That's next on News Talk STL. Welcome home.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL 1019. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
McGuire Moving is silver certified, which means they are great at relocating senior citizens. In fact, McGuire is a household name because McGuire understands the stress involved when moving older adults. So if you or family members need help moving, I highly recommend McGuire Moving. 314-241-0600. 241-0600. Get a free in-home estimate. McGuireMoving.com.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. President Trump is significantly shortening the 50-day deadline he gave Russia's Vladimir Putin to agree to a ceasefire in Ukraine.
I'm going to make a new deadline of about 10 or 12 days from today. There's no reason in waiting. There's no reason in waiting. It's 50 days. I want to be generous, but we just don't see any progress being made.
Ukraine's Air Force says Russia fired another overnight barrage at Ukraine. Mr. Trump has threatened Russia with severe tariffs unless a peace deal is reached. The president's announcing a trade deal with the European Union. He says the agreement imposes a 15% tariff on goods imported from the EU, and the Europeans will no longer have to buy so much oil and natural gas from Russia.
The European Union is going to agree to purchase from the United States $750 billion worth of energy. $750 billion worth of energy. They are going to agree to invest into the United States $600 billion more than they're investing already.
And the president says Europe will also buy a lot of military hardware from the U.S. Police in Traverse City, Michigan, holding a suspect. The weekend knife attack at a Walmart store. The suspect will face terrorism and other charges. Bystanders, one of them armed, collared the suspect until police could arrive. Watching Wall Street this hour, the Dow is down 21 points, the Nasdaq trading 58 points higher, and the S&P is up 5 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
A couple years ago, I was in the bathroom at the airport when I dropped my smartphone in the toilet. Not smart. I was multitasking when I should have been focused on the job at hand. Embarrassing, but I'm not alone. According to Google, 7 million other multitaskers accidentally dropped their phones into the bowl last year. A gentle reminder that right now you can get yourself a brand new Samsung Galaxy A36 absolutely free with a $35 plan from Pure Talk. The A36 comes with scratch-resistant Gorilla Glass and a battery that'll last all day, along with unlimited talk, text, and data on America's most dependable 5G network. In other words, it's tough and smart. Something to think about next time you're multitasking and the necessary. Just dial pound 250, say keyword micro to get your free phone today. You can make the switch in just 10 minutes. That's pound 250. Say Mike Rowe to switch to a no-nonsense smartphone and a company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Discover little-known strategies that could be the difference between choosing the care you deserve or having someone else decide it for you. Get a free copy of Chris's book at SerenityLTC.com. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
The end of this heat wave finally in sight, but we've got 3 more days of intense heat and humidity. Partly cloudy today, just a slight chance of a pop-up storm, 97 for the high, but the heat index jumps to 110. Warm and humid tonight, lows only in the upper 70s to near 80. That's some swampy weather. And then tomorrow, mostly sunny and a scorcher, 99 for the high, but it'll feel like 111. The heat finally breaks late Wednesday into Thursday. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Vic Porcelli.
Come on, you're Italian. You understand.
Every day is a busy day all of a sudden.
You talking to me? You talking to me? Tough and smart, and I love Italian, so he's definitely Italian.
At least I have this show to come and talk about it and let some stuff up.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
The Vic Porcelli Show.
All right, hour number 2 in our 3-hour tour starts off with Karen Kataline. She is waiting very patiently. Her and Ken are like whispering to each other and stuff. Oh, like crap. Coming up at 10:25, a segment I would like to call, Ken, you're the boss, but I would like to call it Ken versus Grok.
Yeah.
You up for that?
It's about as basic as you can get with that.
It really is. Tyler Gray, now we've talked to him more than once, and he says that Trump's Iran strategy is just redefining modern warfare because, here's another thing. Does Trump have not the mental acuity like Joe Biden did not have the mental acuity? He is playing 4D chess against these countries, man.
Oh, yeah.
And he's winning.
Yeah. Did you notice, and this is something real quick, I just reminded me of it, but the president of the EU, she was of communications or something like that. But anyway, she looked very uncomfortable sitting next to President Trump, having to admit that it really was a good deal.
She almost hyperventilated because she couldn't breathe.
I know.
All right, let's go.
The one and only Karen Kataline.
Did you know that I'm married to a trucker? I feel like using a Yiddish word, vermischt. Spoiling in front of my computer, I am. They're just too dumb to lie. He has the effect of 6 shots of scotch.
Good morning, Karen Kataline. How are you?
Good morning, Vic Porcelli and Ken Williams.
How are you?
Such a pleasure.
Always a pleasure to have you. Now,
Yes.
not usually, but sometimes we like to play some audio for you, some funny stuff at the beginning. We do have audio to play for you, but it's going to be at the end.
Because it's not funny, right?
Yes.
No. Okay.
Is that okay?
Of course. I'm up for almost anything.
All right. So let's talk about the Russian collusion. Remember when Donald Trump tried to cheat in the 2016 election? Remember when he colluded with Putin and the Russians? Do you remember that? Remember when that happened?
I not only remember that, but I remember it was perfectly okay to claim that the opposition was cheating in an election. And then the minute 2020 happened, it was illegal to cheat.
Right.
To accuse anybody of cheating in an election, that was un-American.
I forgot
and
about
there were
that.
people who have such short memories. They just fell into that and said, oh, wait a minute. What? That was only 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Just saying.
And the thing too about what you're saying is Ken last week played for us a montage of legacy. What do you call them?
Legacy Pfizer media.
Pfizer
types.
legacy media saying Donald Trump, the Russians hacked the election. The Russians hacked the election. The Russians hacked the election.
There was Russian collusion.
And one of them was Gayle King on the CBS Morning News.
Yeah.
I saw that.
That's usually the stuff that they shy away from, but she wasn't afraid to say that.
Yeah, but we have to forget about it now because it's old news. You know,
I'm sorry. Yes, that's true.
It's old news. Never mind. I mean, this like any criminal or crook saying, "I'm a victim. I'm a victim. I didn't do it. What did I do? What did I do? I didn't do anything." And then you present them with the video and the evidence, and they go,
Whatever.
It's amazing. It's the same thing. Did you happen to see that one where somebody on CNN said, well, in order to believe that it isn't true, you'd have to believe that Comey and Brennan and Clapper and all these and Susan Rice were all in cahoots together, and that would be ridiculous.
Right. You should have stopped them right there and said, well, yeah, because that's what happened.
Yeah, isn't it also frustrating? Although, thank God that it takes 5 years, 10 years, whatever, to come up with the evidence, which we never would have seen an ounce of if the blessing and the miracle didn't happen on November 5th, 2024. We would never see any of this.
You're absolutely right.
You know what I noticed also is that now that this is coming out, and if it was nothing, Eric Holder wouldn't be coming out right now. Barack Obama wouldn't be coming out right now and speaking. They wouldn't have said a word. They would have thought, well, this is just stupid. But now they're coming out and they're saying how ridiculous all this is.
Mm-hmm. How transparent is it? For some people, it will never be remotely transparent because they're dug in. You know, last week, I'm doing radio again today, but I often do radio on Mondays, fill in. And last week, I interviewed a Never Trumper.
Ah.
And I asked her, I knew I needed like an opening question because we'd be off and running and the segment's really short. So I said, you know, it's taken 10 years or more for the story of Trump to unfold, and it's still unfolding. And yet you decided when he came down the escalator in 2015 that you were a Never Trumper, and all these neocon rhino types, I didn't use those terms, also decided that, and you've never allowed the facts to get in the way of your opinion.
Yep. Okay. How about this guy?
Sorry.
No. What are you sorry for?
I went off on a tangent.
No,
That's
it's okay.
right.
When you say that, I consider it part of the training. Now, Vic, I'm supposed to say sorry right here because I used too much time. My Jew in training. Okay. So,
Okay.
Stop screwing around. Okay, here we go.
All
Death to Trump. Allah Akbar. Man threatens to bomb the plane over Scotland to send a message to Trump. And then this is actually from last week, isn't it, Ken? This one we're going to play right here, number 9.
I'm not sure how long. I thought it was recent.
Listen to this weirdo. Oh, this is this story.
Yeah.
Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar!
And they subdued him.
Thank God.
And yeah, they put him on the ground. And could you imagine being on a plane and someone starting to yell Allah Akbar, whatever they say?
Terrifying. Well, and it was really no accident whatsoever that they imported so many Muslims in the so-called Arab Spring into Europe for just this purpose, to reinvigorate anti-Semitism throughout Europe, Jew hatred, America hatred, and Muslims who do that. That doesn't mean all Muslims do that. I always have to say that. It means that they imported the very most hateful to go to Europe and America to change the climate and not the climate change.
Yep.
I mean, don't ever forget that. They use immigration as a weapon. They use people as weapons.
I apologize there, Ken. I thought that was the one. Remember the one we played last week that we're going to change. We're going to convert everybody to Islam.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yeah, and they're serious.
Yeah,
These zealots absolutely intend to.
Well, the problem I have, Karen, and you said a word zealot. What they're saying is these people are just a radical fringe wing. They're not. Islam, if you listen, I've been reading pieces of the Quran and just to kind of get information about it. And I'm telling you, this stuff is really serious. And it's a keystone part of their religion.
Yeah. And because we've been indoctrinated to check ourselves about bigotry and prejudice, we apply it to the wrong things and not to the other things. We're talking about an ideology that spreads like a virus among people. We're not talking about we're talking about the ideology that is overt in what it says it's going to do. You know what I mean? It's kind of like if you can't tell what you just said, Ken, to a lot of people who've bought into the whole wokeness. Because if you can claim victimhood, which is why they try so hard to claim victimhood, and why it upsets me so much that they've used Gaza with millions upon millions of dollars of food that went unspent, but it went to Hamas, it went to other places, it got diverted so that they can keep people hungry and wanting. Anyway, I lost track of what I was
No,
gonna
it's a
say.
part of their strategy. That's the beginning part of their strategy, to be the victim.
Yes.
Once they infiltrate, then they say, well, then now if you're a racist if you say anything about me now because I'm a minority, then when they
But I
become
get to be a racist against you.
Right,
I get to kill you.
I hate the Jews,
if
right?
you're not just the Jews, anybody
No,
who's not a
anybody.
Muslim.
No, infidels, period.
And what scares me too is that the strategy seems quite clear to reinvigorate anti-Semitism. There's an old phrase in Islam among many in these political movements: first Friday, then Saturday. No, first Saturday, then Sunday. They're Friday. Jews are Saturday. That's when they worship. Christians are Sunday. That's when they worship. So if they reinvigorate existing hatreds among certain Christians, then they'll be on the same side with Muslims. And then guess who's next?
Right.
It's quite clear. You just have to be, thinking about, keep your moral compass very, very well oiled.
And I feel like I have to always
Yeah.
say this, but it's not all Muslims. Okay. There,
That's what I was saying.
I live with Muslims, and some people don't practice that. But if you say to me that you must coalesce or you will be an infidel and you will be dealt with to death, I mean, if you believe that, if that's a part of your belief system, Sharia law and all that, then you're incompatible with the Western culture, period.
One way that I've thought of it before, I'm not sure how clear this is sometimes, but it's that in order to hold on to your humanity and to be able to tolerate differences, you have to depart from the orthodoxy in the doctrine, which some very notable Muslims have, like Judy Josser and lots of, not very many, you can count on them, who are willing to stand up against that kind of hate and intolerance. Whereas since Christianity, there are, I don't know how clear it is, but you have to depart from Islam to be more tolerant, but you have to depart, I think, from mainstream Christianity to get to the kind of intolerance that happened like in the Spanish Inquisition. Are you following me?
All right. I also just I don't want to talk too much about this, just to let you know. I think we told you this before. We don't allow people on this show to say anti-Semite or anti-Semitism. You're a Jew hater, and that's it. We call it like it is, just so you know.
I've started doing that too.
Good.
Yeah.
You copy me. You copy me. You copy me.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do.
That's okay. All right. So this is the audio part of our conversation today. First of all, I have not watched what you asked me to watch, Queen's Gambit. Is that about chess?
Oh, it's so good.
Is it about chess?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
I'll-
And it's set in the 60s, by the way.
I'll find that and I'll do it before we chat
wonderful.
again on Thursday.
Okay.
But
Thanks.
did you watch the Billy Joel documentary?
I didn't, and I'm looking forward to it. I heard you when you were coming on, and I went, "Oh God, I gotta watch that."
Okay, listen, it's great. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. Okay,
Great.
I want to play a little bit of audio, and upfront and transparent. I did edit this to not hear him talk about something we don't need to hear him talk about, because we all know what he was saying is not true.
Right.
Okay, but this part is.
I've never liked getting political on stage. People want to get away from a lot of that stuff. I realize that. But sometimes there are things that happen, and you can't just look away. When I wore the yellow star of David, the Nazis are not good people, period. I wore the star, but basically to say, no matter what, I will always be a Jew.
There you go.
Yeah.
Did you know he was Jewish?
Of course.
Don't say of course, okay? Now you're my wife, okay? Because I said that. I said, did you know? She goes, of course he is Jewish. Anyway, I didn't.
I didn't
okay?
know. I didn't really think about it.
Right.
but-
I didn't.
Well,
he was-
I didn't know Danny Kaye was Jewish. I was a real fan of his when I was a kid. I never knew until much, much later.
All right. So listen,
Yes.
his grandfather
Yes.
directly affected by the Nazis. He had a very successful textile company, And once everything started to happen, the Nazis took over and they said, "Oh, we'll pay you." They had no intention of paying them. They were just going to kill him. So he managed to get away. Billy Joel never knew his father really, because his father left home when he was very young. And I got to tell you, there was one point, it's 5 hours long, 2.5 hour episodes. And when we got to the end of the second episode, I started crying because, in all respect to everything that you and I talk about that, it was because of the parallels I saw between Billy Joel and my son. Because he said that he was bullied in school. His father got him boxing lessons. Chris was bullied at school. I didn't get him boxing lessons. I just taught him how to fight. And when Chris had a bad day at school, he'd come home. He'd throw his book bag down and he ran right to the piano. It was his sanctuary, And Billy Joel, same thing. And my son has such a love for classical music. And so does Billy Joel.
Yeah.
And he made an album of all just classical music. I'm like, oh my God. I said to my wife, this is Chris. So that was that.
Can't say anything.
Me neither.
I wish I could give you a hug.
I know. I'd love one.
I'll give you a cyber hug like I do when my husband's on a business trip.
Now, on a serious note, as soon as I started crying, my wife says, "Should we get that CT and see if you have another Theo growing inside of you?"
No, Vic.
What?
My goodness. When I talk about my daughter's my wife, I can't hold it together.
Ken,
I don't.
I
don't even care.
I cry more than the average man. I'm telling you right now.
Well,
more than
we've been dealing with a lot of heavy things lately. I mean, seriously.
I don't think you're a wuss for doing so.
No.
In fact, you're the opposite. Most men can't deal with their feelings.
I'll tell.
Believe me, clearly I can't deal with my feelings.
You can't. And believe me, I will. If I think it's excessive, I will tell you, Vic. I'll be the first to tell you.
It's just. I was crazy with the parallels. But I wanted you to know that that whole thing that we hate to talk about, that I watch, that you hate that I watch, and you hate the thing, but it affected him and his father.
Of course it did.
Yeah.
Of course it did. So just how horrendous and how painful it hurts your heart and your soul when there are people who insist on saying the Holocaust didn't happen, and but we want another one to happen, but that one didn't.
Yeah.
When it's impossible almost to be a Jew in America and not to have been touched by what happened before we were born. Not just the Holocaust, but I mentioned the Spanish Inquisition. We have an unbelievable history, and that history is triumph.
Yep. And
that history is survival.
His father, after he divorced his wife, moved to Vienna. He did not like America. He said it just wasn't his bag. So he moved to Vienna. And by the way, he's a concert pianist too.
Doesn't surprise me.
When Ken, did you go to Vienna?
No.
When Billy Joel went to Vienna, he met. He had a half brother he didn't know he had.
Wow.
And that guy now is a conductor, a symphony conductor. So music is in the blood. Music is in the DNA.
Well, and music is in the blood of most Jews. I mean, I came from a very musical family, and that's been a talent and a skill. I mean, you could name lots and lots of Jewish concert pianists. Many.
And Billy Joel has a song called Vienna. I wonder if that was an influence from that.
No, not an influence. A direct song for his father.
Okay.
Directly. And he plays it.
I love that song.
Man. You got to watch it. You got to watch the documentary. He plays it in front of an audience because this is my father. Here we go. And he plays Goodnight Vienna.
Oh, okay.
Which is his favorite song, by the way.
Yeah.
So that's it. It's great.
Can I say one thing?
If you must, yes.
If you don't mind.
If you must.
I thought about this because this is on my mind, because I am watching just an immense amount of Jew hatred. Little kids singing in Hebrew and kicked off a plane.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that.
I did not.
It's all over the place, and it scares the life out of me.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, rather than singling out Jews who happen to be bad, that people don't like, Jew haters, what they do is that's the norm. All Jews are bad, but they're willing to single out a quote good one like Billy Joel because they like Billy Joel. How about looking at us as individuals
Right.
like you do with all the other groups that have good, bad, ugly, and a lot in between, and like them or hate them for who they are, not because they happen to have been born a Jew, and respect our people.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know.
Little Billy Joel to take us out.
Love
Stiletto
him.
from 52nd
Love him.
Street.
Thank you.
Karen, love you to death. Talk to you Thursday. Thanks for putting up with me, okay?
I love putting up with you both.
All right.
Thanks, Karen.
Bye.
Bye.
Gotta let this piano play right here. I can't talk over the...
No.
Here it comes.
Whoosh.
I bet Chris can play this.
Oh, he can.
Like all
and
of it.
the boogie woogie part in the middle, too. That boogie woogie solo in Scenes from an Italian Restaurant, he literally worked on it for years, like at least 2 years to get it exact. Because when Chris started playing, I always wanted to hear him play the Peanuts song, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So Jessica got him a cheat book where all the music was in C. He said, nope, I'm playing it in A flat. It's in A flat. I'm playing it in A flat.
Love it.
So anyway, sorry I got a little gushy there.
Vic, you don't need to apologize.
Okay, shut up. All right, coming up next, the main attraction, the main event. What do they call it? Yeah, the main event. It's Ken versus Grok. That's next on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home, nice and loud. Oh, I thought that was going to be the piano solo.
She's got so much skill. Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter.
All the kill, you slashed in the face. You've been left there to bleed. You want to run away, but you know you're going to stay, because she gives you what you need. That she said she needs affection.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Now, my mamaw died shortly before I left for Iraq in 2005. And when we went through things, we found 19 loaded handguns.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Whoosh.
Hey, thank you very much for taking my call.
News, analysis, opinion.
Yes, I just want you to know what a breath of fresh air you people are.
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Hey, Tony Colombo here with Tim Jones for our friends Rodney and Jen Wallner, the Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway, the #1 home selling team in the St. Louis area. And I can say that from firsthand experience. My wife and I were blown away from the results that we saw from working with Rodney and Jen, from selling our old home faster and for more money than we thought possible to finding our family's perfect new home. They over-delivered every step of the way. And right now, it's still very much a seller's market. So, Tim, for folks that have been thinking about selling their home, it's a perfect time to call the Wallners.
That's right, Tony. And don't forget, they're licensed in both Missouri and Illinois. So no matter where you are in the metro area, you can put St. Louis's #1 home selling team to work for you. The Wallners' experience and work ethic, second to none. And of course, the numbers speak for themselves. The Wallners sell 15 times more homes per year than the typical realtor. Right now, they're working with so many qualified buyers, they'll guarantee to obtain you an offer. If you've been thinking about selling your home, don't wait. Call the Wallners now at 314-810-SOLD. That's 314-810-SOLD for the Wallner home selling team.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness One. Wellness One is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on Newstalk STL. And you can visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
Concerned about the condition of your windows driving up your energy bills? I was too. Until I called STL Windows and Doors. Call today for your free in-home estimate and start saving tomorrow. 314-277-5952 or stlwindowsanddoors.com. News Talk STL. Colombo and Company.
More and more evidence regarding Russiagate coming out that Tulsi Gabbard says proves Obama was at the center of everything. We'll get you the latest Thursday, plus Mo Rep Justin Sparks and Dr. Randy Tobler.
Live and local weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. You're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show.
How dare you!
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
All right, good morning. Welcome to 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. I'm Vic Porcelli. That guy over there is Ken Williams, the boss. I got this is not an official chat box thing, but Kathleen asked, where can we find the documentary, the Billy Joel documentary is on HBO.
HBO, okay.
HBO Max, if you want to watch it. We watched it on just HBO on TV, but HBO Max has it too.
Okay.
Ken, it's so good. I mean,
now I have to see it.
It's so good. I mean, you know, the beginnings of his career, the height of his career. Do you know he had a major drinking problem?
Nope.
And that's why he was no longer married to Christy Brinkley. I don't know.
That'll do it.
Yeah, it really will. It really do it. And some of the songs that directly relate to his life, you really see it come to life watching. I recommend you watch it. Did I mention that when the audio that I played, I left out all the Charlottesville stuff that he talked about?
Yeah, you mentioned it.
Because we know that's not true.
Correct.
You know, that was the thing. Like, I'm Billy. Don't be like that. You know, that's been so debunked for how many years now? 10 years.
Yeah, but that's just another example of how you and I can separate the two.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Okay. Are you ready?
Yep.
Main event. Ken versus Grok. Round one is Samuel Jackson saying something in a video, and Ken asks,
Grok, who is the celebrity that is speaking?
And Grok replied, the celebrity speaking in the video is Al Roker. He is a well-known television personality, primarily recognized for his role as a weather anchor on NBC's Today Show. In the context of the Fire Aid benefit concert, he is addressing the audience about the distribution of the funds raised, clarifying that the money will not be given directly to individuals, but will instead be channeled through local nonprofits to provide aid in the form of food, housing, and resources for school. Ken, was it Al Roker?
No.
Huh.
Grok, no, this is Samuel L. Jackson.
That was Ken's reply to that. Grok says, apologies for the confusion. I'm sorry. I think Grok is a racist and saying all black people look the same, look alike.
Kind of weird.
Right?
Yeah.
Apologies for the confusion. The celebrity speaking in the video is indeed Samuel L. Jackson, not Al Roker. Well, I'll be damned.
How did you know that then suddenly?
Yeah, all of a sudden he knew it. Right, boy, you're right, Ken. So it's fed to give you any kind of crap they want you to believe until you correct them.
Right.
And then, apologies for the confusion. Samuel L. Jackson is a prominent actor. Okay, we know who he is. Pulp Fiction, Star Wars prequel, and Marvel Cinematic Universe. In the context of the Fire Aid benefit concert, he is addressing the audience about the distribution of funds raised, clarifying that the money will not be given directly to individuals. See, that's the thing about Grok. It repeats himself a lot.
Well, yeah, and I understand that, but I wanted to take it apart one at a time because I knew he was going to answer it wrong again.
Right.
So I replied. I said, no, Grok. In this video, Samuel L. Jackson is actually stating that all the money collected for fire aid will be going directly to people who need help in the short term and the long term effort. And then Grok replied,
I understand the confusion. In the video, Samuel L. Jackson is indeed stating that all the money collected for fire aid will go directly to people who need help in the short term and for long term efforts to rebuild. The statement aligns with the initial promises made by the Fire Aid benefit concert.
And this is where he changes his tune, right there.
Where multiple celebrities, including Jackson, emphasized that the funds would be directly allocated to the victims of the wildfires. However, this contradicts the later statement from Fire Aid itself, which clarified that the organization does not have the capability to make direct payments to individuals and that the plan was always to partner with local nonprofits to deliver aid. What do you call those people, Ken?
The one, what?
People who
partner
with local
I
nonprofits.
Suggested they were NGOs.
Exactly what I wanted to hear you say. And led public scrutiny and calls for transparency regarding the actual distribution of the funds. So the referee is stopping the fight. Down goes Grok. Down goes Grok. Down goes Grok. And look at Ken Williams in his corner, as poised as can be.
And Vic, I understand that Grok has to learn, and so does ChatGPT, Genesis, and all these other AI platforms. Now, my problem is that Grok picked up what I said and said, oh, okay. he was either agreeing with me or putting it into his memory bank. But it sounded to me like he was saying, "Oh, I knew it was Samuel L. Jackson, but I just wanted to say it was Al Roker."
Just seeing if you're paying attention.
Or something like that, yeah. And then at the very end, of course, Samuel L. Jackson was saying that money's going to go directly to the people that need it. And he was disagreeing with that until I called him out, and he said, "Oh, yeah, you're right." No, why didn't he know that before? I don't get that part.
All right, the winner by technical knockout, Ken Williams. Well done, Ken Williams.
Thanks, Vic.
See, I argue with Grok about stupid stuff that nobody cares about. I have to do a spoiler alert here on a show that's not that old. It's semi-recent.
Okay.
So is that okay? I got to do a couple spoilers.
What's the name of the show?
1883.
Okay, so if you're into this, close your ears for a second.
One of the prequels to Yellowstone.
Right.
So I absolutely loved 1883. Loved it. 1923 was pretty good too, but that British woman, I just couldn't take her anymore. So in 1883, the Elsa is the main character, the girl who actually narrates right throughout the whole thing, and even through Yellowstone, dies. Sorry, there's the spoiler, is that she dies. And then at the very end, the last thing we see in 1883 is, I guess, Elsa's heaven, because she's up there on her horse, because that's what she loved to do, ride horses, and she fell in love with this guy, and they used to love to race. Let's race. And the two of them would race their horses, just down the plains, and the guy that she fell in love with, you see him right there. He says, "Want to race?" He even says, "Want to race?" And I said to Grok, I said, "So is he dead too? Because he's in this like heaven scene." And Grok says, "Well, it doesn't actually show an image of him." I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, it does. It shows his face. I'm looking at it right now."
Right now.
I could not get him to move on that, though. I could not get Grok to. I'm saying him. I'm assuming
I
Grok
know
is a guy, unless I'm talking about other stuff with Grok, and it may be a woman from a female perspective or whatever. Have you ever asked that? Have you ever asked Grok, do you come from a point of view of conservative or liberal?
No.
It states it's neither. Whatever.
Yeah.
And then I said, I'm sorry, I'm laughing at one of the things. I forgot where I was.
Well, what I want from you, I don't know if I'm trying to figure out. I was just reading if Grok had that where you could talk and then he can respond with voice.
Yeah.
Because I would love for you to record a conversation that you would have with Grok.
Does Grok talk back?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if anybody knows that, because I'm trying to look it up and I see the X Premium
I'm not paying. I'm not paying.
I know, but I'm just wondering if one of these platforms has. I think ChatGPT. I have an account with them, but I don't have the upgrade. And I think in the upgrade you can actually talk and they talk back. I would love to hear that conversation between you and Grok.
You know what?
Hey, Grok, I think you're on, buddy. Well, Vic,
You know what they should do, though? They should give you the option to have, man Grok or woman Grok, or specifically, Howard Cosell,
Oh, that'd be good.
Wouldn't that be good? 101.
Vic Porcelli.
101 straight up says, "More Howard Cosell, more." Muhammad, you're old. You're listless. You don't have the stamina to be champ anymore. This is Howard Cosell speaking of sports." He would always get real soft at the end. He was so great. Everybody hated him. I loved him. I guess I loved the New York Jewish accent. I guess it was because he was Jewish. I had no idea Billy Joel was Jewish. Why would I don't think about it. Look at this piano player.
Yeah.
Is he Jewish?
Is he right? I've never ever thought about that. But I don't look through those lenses, though.
Yeah, right. Especially when it's somebody not connected with politics.
Right.
Right?
Especially, yeah. But I still don't even with anybody. I'm just like, okay.
And now thinking about what's Paul McCartney? What's Mick Jagger?
Well, I don't know.
I don't know.
He could be anything. I don't know.
All right. Up next, Tyler Gray. Okay, that's enough. Actor and star of the SEAL Team, a former Delta Force operator, and author of Forged in Chaos, a warrior's origin story. This guy is awesome. He's a badass. and he's next on 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL, number one for live and conservative talk. Did I say that right?
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. You're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show.
Being the guy who's pushing them out.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion.
Isn't it wonderful that we're keeping criminals out of our country? How the mayors in these sanctuary jurisdictions are dealing with it, that's interesting.
Safety is our primary concern.
1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Hey, firearms enthusiast, looking for a family and veteran-owned shop with a wide selection of products and services? Head to DG Firearms, 115 Business Highway 61 North in Bowling Green. DG Firearms has been your one-stop shop for custom ARs, Cerakoting, laser engraving, gunsmithing, suppressors, ammo, and reloading supplies. DG Firearms, 115 Business Highway 61 North in Bowling Green, and online at dgfirearmsllc.com.
Someone had a birthday.
Yep, 50. Can't believe it.
50 years of wisdom.
Great segue. We have health news, a CDC update.
Pneumococcal vaccination is now recommended for adults 50 or older. Says here, we're over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50.
I don't love those odds.
Same. Look what I found. Pfizer's Prevnar 20 is proven to help protect adults against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease in just 1 dose, and millions have already gotten it.
Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you have a severe allergy to its ingredients. A weakened immune system may lower your response. Common side effects include injection site pain and swelling, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138. Visit Prevnar20.com or talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
I'm on Prevnar20.com now, scheduling my appointment.
Good idea. And happy 50th.
Fox News commentary.
Democrats' best plan to win over voters of tomorrow was a virtual message from failed candidate Kamala. I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
Sponsored by AxeCap Ventures. America, listen up. Gold prices are breaking records. With inflation raging and central banks hoarding, every American should own gold. And like President Trump said, whoever holds the gold makes the rules. AxeCap Ventures owns one of Nevada's largest undeveloped gold deposits and trades for pennies on the dollar. This could be your way to ride the gold boom. AxeCap trades under GARLF on the OTC. Visit axecapventures.ca today.
Spoiler alert, Democrats still don't know why they lost in 2024 and why their approval rating keeps finding new lows. But they did hold a lackluster event in D.C. over the weekend called the Voters of Tomorrow Summit. The goal was to activate young voters and get Gen Z back in the pocket of the Democratic Party. Featured speakers included Nancy Pelosi, Rep. Ro Khanna, and even a virtual 2-minute pre-recorded message from none other than the big loser herself, Kamala Harris. Now, you'd think, given it was pre-taped and virtual, lasting only a couple minutes, she couldn't have screwed it up that badly, but you'd be wrong. True to her signature style, the message was a rambling, idealistic word salad of shallow and uninspiring nothingness. And the worst of all for Democrats, Kamala vowed to stay in the fight. Does that mean she's running again? Best of luck. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can watch my show, Tommy Lahren is Fearless, at Outkick.com.
This hour, The Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by Proctor Drapery Blinds and Shutters. Proctor, spelled like doctor. ProctorDrapery.com.
The shuffling madness of the locomotive breath.
Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
We demand a lower work week, 32-hour work week.
Very well, we'll give them shorter hours. We'll start by cutting their lunch hour to 20 minutes.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Hey, do you have a phone? Fantastic. You also have a radio right there in the phone. Just get our app, download it, one push. We've even reduced it down to just one push.
That's amazing.
Push the icon that says News Talk STL, station starts playing. And you can go to the Wheel of Fun there, and you can actually, I don't know why I keep saying this, you can comment in our chat box, but I haven't read one yet because I'm a horse's ass. I apologize for that. But also, if you could do us a favor, okay, listen to our podcasts, share our podcasts.
Yeah.
Okay. Let people know what's going on. All right. One final thing about Howard Cosell, and I promise we'll move on. Howard Cosell also had awesome things to say that were perfect for him, like Muhammad Ali's manager, Angelo Dundee. You know
the name Dundee.
But I don't know, something about it together.
Yeah,
Angelo. And I don't know. That's it. Howard Cosell. Speaking of sports, all right. Tyler Gray, actor and star of the SEAL Team, a former Delta Force operator, total badass, and the author of Forged in Chaos: A Warrior's Origin Story. Tyler, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Welcome, gentlemen. How are you?
Great. Good to have you on. Let's talk about. I'm sorry. Did you say something?
I just said thank you. Sorry.
Well, you're welcome. Trump, we said this earlier in the show. Trump's Iran strategy, right? Redefining modern warfare. People on the left are actually trying to say he doesn't have the mental acuity. They're only saying that because we said that about Joe, which was true at the time. But President Trump is playing 4D chess, isn't he?
It's definitely he's definitely playing a long game, and he understands how these things play out. He's dealt with this regime. He understands it well, and he knows that the only thing that they respect is force. And so, if you look at how they reacted, they made all these claims. He bombed them, and then they sent some missiles towards one base and then called it a day. Right. So I think he definitely had a very good idea on how this was going to go down, and the amount of planning, strategic and for lack of a better term, political planning was pretty impressive how it all played out. So I definitely think he's playing chess when a lot of people are currently playing checkers.
Now you brought up something great, because the response from these countries, these Arab countries, Muslim countries, are always crazy. Because didn't the Ayatollahs say, "Oh, they're going to pay for that. Our retaliation is going to be good," and they haven't done anything.
Oh, yeah.
And what did Saddam Hussein say about the war in Iraq? He said that U.S. will face the mother of all battles. And you know what that was? The Iraqi troops putting their hands up, surrendering.
Yeah, well, it's also ironic because, he said that they'll face the mother of all battles, and Iran faced the mother of all bombs.
Right.
So there is apparently a similarity there in the acronym. But, look, it's been a while now, but I'm sure you gentlemen remember the truly comical video of and I forget who it was, the Iraqi foreign minister or whatever was given a speech.
Baghdad Bob.
Never, there you go, Baghdad Bob. They'll never be, whatever, while there was American tanks in the background or whatever it was. It was laughable. And, people have to understand, though, that's just the way, these regimes are. My big thing that I try and explain to people with Iran that you have to think of is this. They're always talking out of both sides of their mouth. And what I mean by that is you have on one hand the Iranian regime going, we want nuclear for just power's sake, peaceful purposes, blah, blah, blah. That's one side of the mouth. The other side, the exact same mouth, but the other side is
death to America.
Death to America, but also we are going to do something that the world will remember for centuries with the image of a mushroom cloud, right?
Right.
Like you can't have it both ways.
Right.
Like it doesn't work that way. And they're very comfortable doing it. They don't see it that way. And so the only way that you can deal with it, the best way I can describe it, is like dealing with children.
Yes.
Young children, and they only, these regimes only respect force. And if you're not doing something that forces them into a certain decision, they're not going to do it. And so I think this was also one thing I want to mention that most people kind of forget about, and I've dealt with this firsthand. Think about this. The Iranian regime never, at least that I'm aware of, never even once tried to say that there were civilian casualties.
Right.
Think about how crazy that you're talking about. And again, I've seen it firsthand multiple times where I know for a fact we bombed things. I was either there or, I had very intimate knowledge of it. Oh, it was all civilians. I know it wasn't true. It's happened to me over 100 times. And they didn't even try it. Pretty interesting if you really think about it.
Absolutely. And something you said there about, Iran saying, oh, we just want nuclear energy for, energy. And then, showing the mushroom cloud behind us. And you said some people don't see it the way. Some people in our country don't see it that way. Some people in our country can't look at that video of the Ayatollah saying, oh, just one for nuclear energy. And then in the next sentence says they're going to, bomb us with a nuclear bomb and then the bomb in the background. Some people in our country don't get it.
Yeah. And, and here's the thing is at this point, I used to be very frustrated by that. And I'm not saying I'm not frustrated, but what I am saying is now when I hear those people or I see those people, I realize that the fundamental problem is they have an expectation that everyone outside of this country is like us. And the reality is, sadly, it's just not true.
Yeah.
There are governments out there that just want to screw up everything for everyone, to include their own people. And they only respect force. They do not want peace. They do not want to do the right thing. The only way they are going to stay within a peaceful context or do the right thing is by force.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality. And we can't expect the rest of the world to all hold our same morals and convictions.
Yeah, Tyler, that's such a great point, because that is an actual disadvantage for this country, because when our leaders think, they're going to be human beings. Well, no, not necessarily. There are very many people in the theocracy that are saying, at all costs, I don't care if I live, die, whatever, I want to see the dismemberment of every individual in Israel. That's what I want. And that's their goal. I mean, that is their ultimate goal. They don't care what happens after that.
No, absolutely true. And again, the way I always explain it is you have two sides, really of perspectives of people. One group of people essentially says, hey, we got to live in the way the world is, not the way we want it to be. And the other group of people goes, no, the world is the way I want it to be. And it's two different complete perspectives. And the reality is, look, I wish things were easier. I wish everyone around the world wanted peace and good things, but that's just sadly not the reality we live in.
Right.
And therefore, the only way that we can keep peace in this type of reality is by having people that are willing to do violence on the behalf of others to keep the peace. The peace through strength mentality. It's been around for a long time for a reason, and that reason is fundamental to human nature. Some people just want to destroy everything.
We're talking to Tyler Gray, who is star of the SEAL team, also a former Delta Force operator. I think one thing that Americans don't want and won't stand for, Tyler, is some long, drawn-out war with them like we had in Afghanistan for 20-plus years. Can't do it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. Having, fought in Afghanistan and Iraq, I mean, it comes down to, it's very sad because, the military is designed to win wars. The military is not designed to nation build or to, sit on a native population. It's not designed as an occupying force forever. And so we really need to be smarter about how we get involved in conflicts. And I've said this before, it's naive to think that we can just be pure isolationists and never get involved in anything. I'm not saying the U.S. should be, the world police, but at the same time, again, there's things that are going to come up. It's naive to think we can be isolationists in this modern world. And so, but we need, therefore, to be able to have strategies and campaigns that can interact and do the things we need to do with foreign policy, but not get us involved in those ground occupying forever wars that we've had in the past.
And Tyler, this is, I think, you noted, and I've seen it where others have said even that Donald Trump is changing the way battles are fought or the way war is fought, because he's changing strategies in order to get the accomplished goal.
Yes, and one thing I want to mention on that I haven't said yet is that part of this is a great, and again, it's my opinion, but I think part of this is a great, for lack of a better term, incorporation of advancements in technology. I am pretty confident that this mission, the way it went down, wouldn't have been able to happen 5 years ago.
Okay.
I think advancements in technology allowed the level of complexity and precision. I mean, it was a very complicated logistics mission. Just think of it this way. You had multiple, not just units, multiple services involved, right? So think of a corporation when it's coming up with a product. You start adding different departments, it starts getting complicated. Things get lost in translation, etc. So with this one, you had Space Force, the Air Force. There was so many different, you had the Israelis, the Americans, very, very complicated. And I think technology played a part, and him utilizing the advancements in technology to do something like this, I think is another aspect that not a lot of people have talked about.
Tyler Gray, SEAL Team Delta Force operator. Your book is called Forged in Chaos: A Warrior's Origin Story. Tell us a little bit about that book, and then where we can buy it.
Absolutely. So the book is essentially my story on, joining the military, getting blown up in Iraq, and really a multi-year recovery, as well as a loss of identity, loss of purpose. The book is not just for veterans, it's for anyone who's really went through a traumatic experience and how to build strength and resilience and find your purpose again after loss.
It's tough.
And the book,
yeah,
it's currently on really anywhere books are sold. Forged in Chaos, Tyler Gray, and then on my website, Tyler A. Gray, graywithane.com.
Well, you clearly make more money if they go to your website than get it at Amazon, right?
I know. You'd think. I don't actually. Actually, the only thing I sell is like an autograph copy on my website. The regular non-autograph copy is on Amazon. It's logistically complicated, that I learned.
We're just trying to help you make a couple extra bucks there, Tyler.
No, I appreciate it. No, I appreciate it. But yeah, no, I'm very happy. The feedback has been great, and I really want to push the message because I know it has the ability to help a lot of people.
Tyler, thank you so much for serving this country. Thank you for being brave and finding the courage to get out there and do that stuff, and for writing this book, and your thoughts today were just great. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, gentlemen. Thank you.
Ken, I'll say it again. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah.
Because, I was bitching about boot camp, right? With my Air Force
Right,
thing,
yeah,
when I was
yeah.
going to, I'll be on the radio for the Air
Sure.
Force, no problem. Wait, I got to do boot camp? I don't think I could have done that, much less the things that these SEALs and Delta Force operators do.
Yeah.
My God. All right, can we talk about Uncle Chuck for a couple of seconds?
Sure,
here? You went
sure.
out there and got his name, right?
Yeah, it was really cool, and I posted some pictures on our Facebook page. But yeah, just going up there and being able to do the rubbing and stuff, I thought, I wanted something that would last. So they handed me a little piece of paper that showed where he was, the row, and and the number he was. So I put that on this piece of paper, and then I wrote his, what my little Chuck did in the Marine Corps, what his position was, what his rank was, and everything.
Yeah.
And then I just put it up here behind me, and I'm going to have it every day now.
I love it.
I'm so happy.
Ken, that broadcast we did Thursday from JB
Yeah.
Park was just great. I think the people that came out, thank you so much for doing that. We really appreciate it. And I think that was more important than I thought it was going to be.
And we knew it was going to be pretty intense, but when when our boss Jeff said, "Well, we're not going to have any signage. We're just going to show up and we're going to be there."
Wasn't about us.
It was not about us, and I just thought it was so cool that all the listeners came out and they just everybody was really mellow, very somber, but together, and that was the togetherness is what I really thought was impressive to me.
I think the amount of people that came up and talked to us was just mystifying to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there weren't signs. There weren't, hey, we're here. They sought us out to say hi or give us some garlic.
And please do that. If you ever come out and see us in any event that we do, come up and say hi. Please plop down on the chair that's next to us and go, here, we're ready. Let's
Here
go.
we go. Let's talk. All right. Still another hour to go on our 3-hour tour. On 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL, number one for live and local conservative talk.
Whoosh. How do you find a roofing contractor you can trust? You could randomly pick one and cross your fingers. Or here's a better idea. Choose Expert Group Contracting. We're proud to use America's most trusted roofing brand, Owens Corning. That means we've been screened for reliability, professionalism, and customer service. Residential or commercial roofing, licensed, insured, and offering free estimates. Why take chances on your roof? Visit expertgroupcontracting.com. That's expert with an X, groupcontracting.com.
Jamie Allman here with the Allman Report. Pleased to be with Jordan Rosenblum. Google the bagel loan. That's what it's all about. Jordan, tell me about purchasing a home, brother.
Purchasing a home right now, it's a tough market. You're going to see a lot of competition. On the bagel loan that we have, you're going to have no closing costs, no title fees, no appraisal fees, no lender fees. Saves an average client almost $4,000 on a transaction. Customer service, unbelievable. Text, call anytime.
As I know, as a real estate agent, Google the bagel loan. Google the bagel loan, folks.
NMLS number 226715.
Dude, this house is perfect. Crumbs everywhere, sticky counters. I've already texted the colonies.
Sweet. I'll bring my 500 cousins. This will be the biggest ant rager of the summer.
Let's party! Wait, what's that sound? Oh, no, it's those trucks with the green wheels. Party's over, man. Party's over.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. We'd love to help you out. Give us a call today for a free estimate at 636-486-7888.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, and always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. President Trump has announced a new, shorter deadline for Russian President Vladimir Putin to reach a deal to end its 3-year war with Ukraine. He said 2 weeks ago he would implement severe tariffs on Russia unless a peace deal is reached by early September. The president now says he would give Putin 10 to 12 days from Monday instead. In remarks this morning from Turnberry, Scotland, the president asserts that the U.S. will be partnering with other nations to provide humanitarian aid to Gaza.
We've been sending in a lot of food. A lot of the food that's been going there has been sent by the United States. I spoke yesterday with the president of the European Union, Ursula, who was terrific also on the subject, and she's going to play a big role also in helping us. So we have a good group of countries that are going to help with the humanitarian needs, which is food, sanitation, and some other things.
British Prime Minister Keir Starmer has been meeting with the president in Scotland. Also at townhall.com, President Trump announcing a landmark trade agreement with the U.S. and EU. Correspondent Ken Lorman has details.
The deal is a major victory for American energy and economic leadership. The European Commission is committed to purchasing $750 billion in U.S. energy exports, ensuring America's role as a global energy powerhouse. The EU also pledges an additional $600 billion in new investments beyond prior commitments. The agreement strengthens transatlantic ties, but also delivers a significant win for American workers, industries, and the broader economy. Ken Lorman reporting.
And on Wall Street, stocks are higher. The Dow up 18 points, the Nasdaq adding 55. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. You work hard, you build wisely, your home has become one of your greatest assets. If you're staying put this summer, this might be the perfect time to put that equity to work. Whether it's funding a second home, helping your kids get their start, or simply creating more margin in your financial life, Mike and Brian at Fellowship Home Loans are the only ones I trust to guide you through it. They've done loans for my family. They tailor every loan to fit your goals. Fellowship is a direct lender and operates with your best interest in mind. If you're looking to access your equity through a refi or exploring a HELOC for some cash this summer for a second property, or maybe tackle those updates you've been putting off, Start with people you trust, people I trust. Go to fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, fellowshiphomeloans.com/Mike G, or call 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, DBA Fellowship Home Loans, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD.
Looking for excitement, fun, and delicious food for the whole family? Piccadilly Parwan has it all. Savor our scratch-made dishes. Nothing frozen. Every bite a true delight. Roll into fun at Piccadilly Palace for roller skating, or race your heart out at Piccadilly Kart Racing. Join us for happy hour Monday through Friday, 4 till 6. Free select appetizers and drink specials. And don't miss our mouth-watering Sunday family dinners. Piccadilly Parwan on Audrey Lane in Union, Missouri, or online at piccadillypar1.com.
Dude, ready to shred your taste buds? Hit up Do Shaggy's, the gnarliest 90s skateboard anime-themed restaurant in St. Peters. Our scratch-made Shaggy OG double smash burger with grilled onions and house-made Shaggy sauce will blow your mind. Plus, our epic cheesesteak mafia on garlic bread. It's totally rad. Fresh everything, beef gallo fries, and kid-friendly options, too. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 to 8, Sundays, 11 to 4. Do Shaggy's, 429 South Church Street, St. Peters. Come get stoked and get fed.
Columbo here for my friends at Bluff City Outdoors in Alton. The knowledgeable staff at Bluff City has served the St. Louis outdoor community for decades, and they can take care of all your bow hunting needs, all your trapping needs, all your fishing needs, and more. Plus, while you're there, you can schedule a trip with a local fishing guide and shoot in their archery range. Bluff City Outdoors is open 7 days a week, 1 mile east of Fast Eddie's at 2813 East Broadway in Alton. Follow them on Facebook and at bluffcityoutdoors.com.
Why leave your company's story to chance? In today's digital world, video content isn't just an option. It's essential for your success. At Blue Ocean Media Group, we've spent decades crafting compelling visual stories for businesses just like yours. From concept to completion, our award-winning team transforms your vision into powerful video content that connects with your audience and drives results. Don't trust your brand to amateurs. Partner with Blue Ocean Media Group. Visit blueoceanmediagroup.com today, and let's bring your story to life.
This hour, the Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by the Trolley Stop Bakery, the official bakery of the Vic Porcelli Show. Vic Porcelli.
Come on, you're Italian. You understand.
Every day is a busy day all of a sudden.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Tough and smart, and I love Italian, so, he's definitely Italian.
At least I have this show to come and talk about it and let some stuff up.
What kind of a show, you guys?
From New Jersey to Baldwin, Missouri, to behind the microphone, taking the whoosh to the radical left and the putrid swamp. You're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show. Here he is, Vic Porcelli.
All right. Hour number 3 in our 3-hour tour. Ken Williams, executive producer.
Hi, Vic.
Hi, Ken. So coming up for the rest of this hour, we've got the chat box, of course, and Doug Blair. I want to get Doug's, what's the dope, behind the scenes of this whole Barack Obama spying on Trump mess.
Yeah, I can tell you just from what I see as gathering information when we do these shows every day, Barack Obama and Eric Holder and all the others that are talking right now, Brennan, they don't come out of the woodwork like this for nothing. They don't just come out to comment unless they're bothered by something that's happening.
Yeah, and usually it's like, I'm not going to comment on it. That's okay. But we didn't do anything.
Right. and the harder when they come out, the harder that they diss it, the more information you can bet is correct. And they came out. This is the most ridiculous thing that I have ever heard in my entire life. That's Barack Obama. Now, James Comey. He comes out about Dan Bongino, and I saw the video. He says, Dan Bongino, what he said, I don't even want to talk because it's just it's so bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
It's in such a bizarre world that we live with Dan Bongino's comment that I just can't even comment on.
Yeah, we got to talk about that too. All right, let's talk about California. They passed a bill, AB 930, by a vote of 59-16 on not letting non-citizens be on recount boards.
Mr. Speaker, I rise in strong opposition to AB 930. It does not modernize the way people vote. It adds the ability for non-citizens to serve as recount board members. I'm not sure why a non-citizen should have any business serving on a board overseeing a U.S. election. That's not how people vote, how most people vote that I talk to on both sides of the aisle.
I asked my colleague from San Diego not to hurl insults at fellow assembly members on the assembly floor.
Mr. Berman, your point is well taken. Mr. DeMaio, please use decorum.
I think most Californians would wonder how it can be a modern election if non-citizens are serving on an election board overseeing the election. That's not an insult. That's common sense. I think it would be insulting to suggest that Californians wouldn't have grave concerns about that. And perhaps that's why we see so many election-related measures passed by this body that are unhinged from popular points of view in this state.
You know, Ken, it's a wild analogy, but you're not allowed to shoot and kill anybody, by the way. You know what I mean?
You're not?
No.
Okay, good. Thank you.
So if you do, you're not allowed to say, "Oh, I didn't know." That's fine, I thought. You know what I mean? Having non-citizens on recount boards in an election is why we don't want people in the country illegally to begin with.
Right. Exactly right. It's so bizarre. To live in California has got to be so frustrating for conservatives, because they can say whatever, no matter what they feel, it's not being represented. I mean, that number, what was that, 56-19?
No, it was 59-16.
Okay, 59 to Phil, that's even worse.
Mhm.
59-16 in votes.
Right.
I mean, that's not even close.
Right.
I wish we had conservatives in Missouri that would vote so lockstep like that.
So, first of all, I want to say, whoever that guy was talking to, Assemblymember DeMaio, I'm sure his name was pronounced DeMaio, not DeMaio. And by the way, it's Chuck Mangione. Just want to let you know that too.
Okay.
But well, let's hear some more in this whole thing. California State Assembly passing AB 930.
This bill also extends the amount of time for ballots to be returned in an election. We
Amazing.
already are the laughing stock of the world when it comes to counting ballots. Most third world countries have something called an election day, not an election month. We're actually on track to having an election quarter here in California, because our elections actually start 30 days prior to election day through mail-in ballots. So a month out, people can vote. And then, of course, they are able to count ballots for 30 days after an election. That's a 60-day period. What this bill would do is it would allow ballots to be returned up to 7 days after election day. That only sows the seeds of doubt. It undermines public trust and confidence in our democracy when ballots mysteriously appear after election day.
If somebody were to say, "Why do you need this so much? Why do you need so much time?" So we can cheat.
That's the only logical outcome.
But they never say that.
Because they cannot ever say, "Well, we need time to count the votes," because there are countries. Remember the recent election in Thailand?
Mm-hmm.
They have 26 million people that voted, and Taiwan, and they counted it all in one day before 10 o'clock at night. They had them all counted.
We used to be able to do that too. We used to be able to vote, find out how we voted that night.
What changed? Well, that's a good question. What changed, Vic?
Right.
What did we gain like 3 times as many people in this country as we had 20 years ago? No.
I think the advent of this happening, though, is the 2020. Oh my God, it was W and Al Gore. What
That was 2000.
So 2000. That was the beginning.
Okay.
With the hanging Chad
and all that, yeah.
That guy with the magnifying glass looking at the ballot. See if what the hell? That's what started it.
Yeah,
I think
you're right.
And
we need to go back. We need to step back. And Donald Trump, he actually wants to make it paper ballots, single day voting. One day, one vote, one ballot.
Thank you. I pointed at Ken. I knew he knew exactly what I wanted to hear. So you mentioned something I want to talk about. You said California is so hard to live there. Your house, how many bedrooms is your house?
3. Well, yeah, 3.
If you took your house and put it in California, it would be a $5 million house.
I know this from experience, actually. My relatives live in La Jolla, which is an upper part of San Diego. And they live in the hills, and they have a house that's probably maybe a little smaller than mine.
Right.
We actually
2-bedroom,
4
maybe?
bedroom. Yeah, they have 2 bedrooms, and then they have another little thing. But it's spread out differently. It's on a hill. $2 million.
See?
Yeah, and it's in a fairly nice area, but there are many better areas than that.
And when companies are moving from California to Texas, Florida, Tennessee, they're not doing that to make a statement,
No.
They're doing it because they can't afford it.
That's it.
They can't afford to live and do business in California.
Yeah, the left takes it personal, like, well, see, they're just doing it because they want to make a big old statement. They're not. They're saying, I can't live here anymore. I just can't. I want to, and I get it. California is an amazing place. It really is.
Beautiful state.
But everything else that happens there, because of people that lead that state, it makes you not want to be there.
Yeah. And it is a beautiful state. 36 years ago, when Jessica and I were married, we went on our honeymoon to California, specifically to go on The Price is Right, and that didn't work out. When we got to sit in the crowd, but we didn't get to come on down.
Yeah.
But, we were in California. And so that was like the LA area. Then we drove down the Pacific Coast Highway in a blue Pontiac convertible.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And it was just great. Stayed in Newport Beach for a couple of nights, and then down to San Diego, and then home. But boy, what they've done to screw up that state to the point where the reservoirs didn't have water to put out fires. And I don't know, what was the conclusion of that? What was the accountability in that?
Well, they won't tell you. They know who was accountable, and they fired her. She was making $795,000 a year. This was her job, Vic, to make sure there was water in the fire hydrants.
Oh.
And the reservoirs were completely dry because they diverted water to the ocean. This water was not being used for anything else. They were diverting it to the ocean because of the little fish.
What fish?
I don't
is
know,
that?
some kind of tiny fish. I don't know.
Oh my
But
God.
Trump, remember, he stepped in and he said, "Well, we're going to divert that water back," and he did. But too late. I mean, there's nothing you do about it when the fire hydrants are completely empty. What are they going to do? Well, the house is burned down.
California couldn't be closer to water than it is right now, to the ocean.
Yeah.
And I don't know if salt water is okay to put out fires or not, but
I can't see why it wouldn't be.
let's say it's not. I think it is, but let's say it's not. This is 2025, all right? This is the 21st century. Why don't we have something that desalinates it and use it for drinking water or cooking water or putting out fires?
We have those, but it's an expensive process, and they use it. In Saudi Arabia, they use it a lot.
How expensive?
Well, it's
more
to convert
expensive.
It's
More expensive than housing a bunch of illegal aliens?
No, I don't think so.
See what I'm saying?
Yep. Totally agree with it.
Everything is ass backwards. I mean, everything is ass backwards. So you said that California, has gone to hell. New Jersey has gone to hell. And New York City has gone to hell. I mean, New York City during the Giuliani years was great. You felt safe. All the porn theaters were gone.
Yep.
And now it's worse than it was than before when he took over.
Yeah, in LA, we have Mayor Bass, who actually is now funding the people. Okay, illegal aliens right now are afraid to go shopping, afraid to go to work because they're illegal aliens.
Right.
I mean, that you're when you're a criminal, you find it difficult to wander around law enforcement officers. I mean, you know how that works. So what she said to them is, well, you stay home and we'll give you debit cards full of money that we have just for you so you can eat and pay your rent. Can you believe that?
It's so ridiculous and actually unlawful, I think, to do something like that when the rest of the country is like, we're not doing that. We're just trying. Like, there's so many. Aren't there states? How many? Okay, let me start again. Percentage-wise, how many states do you think don't have an illegal alien problem, or do all 50 states?
I think all 50 do. Yeah. I think even Alaska. I do.
How do they get up there?
Well, they fly them up there. They want to distribute. The Democrats did this for a reason, to get seats. And so they wanted to put them not just in sanctuary cities, although they did focus on sanctuary cities because people were leaving the states. Vic, we talk about California. We've got somebody next door. Our poor Illinois listeners, they have to deal with J.B. Pritzker. This guy's trying so hard to be Gavin Newsom. And they don't even have the ocean water.
The whole purpose of having all these illegals in the country for the Democrats is that they'll vote Democrat. That's it. That was the plan, right?
For seats, yeah.
So now, doesn't it make?
Well, I'm sorry. Let me back up a little bit. For the census for 2030, they're hoping that 765,000 people equals one seat, and you don't have to be documented or not.
Right.
If you're there, okay. So if they get 20+ million people to stay here, it doesn't matter if they're voters for them or not. They will gain in sanctuary cities. They will gain those seats in those cities and states.
But I think their
main goal,
main objective is to get these people who they think will vote Democrat. So now it makes total sense when Ron DeSantis sent a plane full of illegals to Martha's Vineyard, right?
Right.
They didn't say, "Oh, welcome to Martha's Vineyard. Here, make a home here with your family."
Yeah.
Because everybody in Martha's Vineyard votes like a lib turd anyway.
And how fast did they get them out of there after they were all gone within 2 days?
Why?
Because they didn't want them there.
They didn't need their votes.
Right. Exactly right.
Because Martha's Vineyard will vote Democrat just fine on their own.
Now remember what they claimed up in Martha's Vineyard. Let's look at that for a second, because they claimed that they didn't have the resources for anyone.
Uh-huh.
For anyone, even people living there. Yeah, we just don't have the resources for all this. So you have to leave. Sorry, get on the bus, get out of here. Okay, goodbye.
Is that what they said?
They sent them, yeah, and they sent them to Chicago, where they don't have the resources there either. But because it's Chicago, they said, "Oh, just go ahead and stay here, and we'll find money for you."
And the people in Chicago, the Democrats, the liberals in Chicago, wanted to talk to Trump. They were sick of Brandon Johnson.
Right.
Okay. That's enough of that, I think.
Okay.
Let's talk about the St. Louis County Lincoln Reagan Day dinner. It's happening on Saturday, September 27th, and it's going to be a great night at the River City Casino Hotel Ballroom, featuring the federal IRS agent who helped bust Hunter Biden, Joseph Ziegler. Do you remember when he testified in front of the House Committee about all that stuff?
Yeah, I can't wait.
Also, many Missouri state and federal officials, and of course, the now famous silent auction. So get your tickets now, 314-398-6667. Even easier, go to our website, NewstalkSTL.com, and get more information there. Queen and David Bowie. All right, when we get back, we're going to talk to Doug Blair.
Whoosh.
He's the insider now, right? He's our guy who finds out, hey, what are they talking about over there?
Right.
He's our guy. He's next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. The Vic Porcelli Show.
As President Lincoln said,
what, do you have a cough due to cold? Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL. News Talk STL.
First thing in the morning and pretty much all day.
Live and local. 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Hey, it's Vic Porcelli here with our great friend Chris Cooper from Serenity Wealth Management. Hi, Chris.
How are you, Vic?
I don't want to put anybody else down, but that when you go up and visit you at Serenity Wealth, your place looks like home.
So a lot of financial advisory offices, they have, the big mahogany desk or the big marble entryways and things like that. The stock market channel on the TV when you walk in the door, right? That doesn't really drive a good conversation. Good financial guidance and advice starts with a good conversation. People are nervous. People are afraid to talk about finances, right? And so you can see a little standoffish. Well, my objective is to try to have a good, casual conversation. By having those conversations about life, goals, objectives, it's what makes me understand what our financials are supposed to fund.
So if somebody does want to have a good conversation, how do they do that? How do they find you?
Our website is the best way to do that because you can get all the information you need, understand where we are, get a little bit more information, all that. SerenityWealthNow.com.
Reach out to Chris and Stacy today at SerenityWealthNow.com.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors, LLC.
Hi, Kirk Hilsinger here, and I'm the new chairman of the St. Louis Republican Central Committee. I invite you to our meetings that take place the first Thursday of every month at 3710 Hampton Avenue. You can stay connected with us to learn more about how you can get involved, make your voice heard, and contribute to our shared goals. Together, we can make a difference in the city of St. Louis and the state of Missouri. For more info, visit our new website at stl-gop.com. That's stl-gop.com.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican PAC, Curtis Farber, Treasurer. No big old corporate lib AM station telling us what to say here.
Conservative talk for St. Louis. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1,
And always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com.
Weird house.
Weird.
Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
That's what I thought I was out.
On News Talk STL.
We also have a policy that if you're driving on one of those streets and a mob comes and surrounds your vehicle and threatens you, you have a right to flee for your safety. And so if you drive off and you hit one of these people, that's their fault for impinging on you. You don't have to sit there and just be a sitting duck and let the mob grab you out of your car and drag you through the streets. You have a right to defend yourself in Florida.
Hey, if the protesters are out there and you fear for your life, you fear for your safety, run them over. Well, I mean, what else can you do? Ken and I were talking about it before we got back here, and he was like, "Hey, my family is being threatened." Yeah, you bet I'm going to do something about it. So, in Florida, it just seems like Florida is the shining star on how states should act, on how states should, how governors should govern.
Well, I mean, it's just completely logical. If you have a family member or a group of family members in your car, you're not stopping. You're not going to allow them to pull them out of your car.
Run them over.
I'm sorry, but you have to make a decision there.
Yep. All right. Wall Street Journal had a poll, and it shows that Democrats' approval rating has plunged, to its lowest level since 1990. Only 33% of registered voters now have a favorable view of the party, with a staggering 63% unfavorable people saying that unfavorable Democrats are unfavorable. So 63% unfavorable, 33% favorable. You take that 33% and strip out the super uber left radical leftists, and then I guess people who work in government, or at least know some people in government, those people. But my point is 63 to 33 is not how the elections turn out, is it? Because, Donald Trump would have won by 30%, right?
Right.
So Trump currently holds a 46% approval rating, 52 disapproving. However, this marks an improvement from the same point of his first term when he had just 40%. So my point is, with the percentage and the numbers, is that people are coming over to the good side. 63% view the Democrats unfavorably. Well, that's not what the election showed us, is it?
No.
That's not what the mainstream media wants you to believe, is it?
No.
So
definitely not.
I just think that they're pretty interesting numbers, and that Donald Trump's approval rating is higher now than it was in his first term.
Yeah.
So all right, let's talk to Doug Blair.
This just in. For the latest news from the DC swamp and beyond, this is the Vic Porcelli Show East Coast Report with Douglas Blair on News Talk STL.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning, Doug Blair. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great, Vic. Favorite part of my day. How about yourself?
Appreciate that. Right back at you. So we were just talking about approval ratings. Wall Street Journal saying that only 33% of registered voters have a favorable view of the Democrat Party, while a staggering 63% view the Democrats unfavorably. Gee, that's not what the election showed us. That's not what the mainstream media would say, is it?
No, and I mean, I think that when people say these things to pollsters, it's not always as useful as it could be. You know, I used to work in polling.
Yep.
And one of the things that we found was that people would say one thing to a pollster because they thought that was what the pollster wanted to hear. And then they would go out and do something completely different. So getting that sense of like, well, what do people actually believe? What do people really think? And how does that impact how they behave is a game that is probably never going to be won by pollsters. Now, I mean, for us, I think that this is a really solid development. I think it does show that that brand is so tarnished by the actions of the former administration, by what people are doing now. They don't really seem to have any solutions other than scream about how everybody on the right is a fascist. But I think that if, you know, this is to continue, we might see a pretty substantial political reorganization like we haven't seen since, gosh, the Civil War, the days of the founding, where one party just completely implodes and something new comes out of it.
All right. So what's the inside dope on Bongino's weird statement? Not weird. I mean, it was just pretty.
It was weird.
Okay, so
I would say it was weird.
There you go. So
Very cryptic.
What's the scoop on the weird tweet?
Look, I think that out of all of the members of the admin, Bongino is the one who has the least to lose by going what we might say scorched earth, right? Where he might just be able to go out there and be like, look, this is what we've discovered. This is the information that the American public deserves to know. And if that, you know, gets him removed from the admin, I mean, he's able to go back to talk radio, I think, super easily. I think that his brand is still very much connected with that type of content. I think he's very much able to go back to talk radio, no problems asked. The problem with like Bondi or somebody is that she's a creature of the swamp now. I mean, she's somebody that, you know, is indelibly connected with the Trump administration, is connected with the DOJ. And I don't think that she'd be able to do the same thing that, you know, Bongino would. Now, this is the thing that always frustrates me sometimes about swamp creatures, is that they never actually do anything. It's all a lot of talk. And I think that Bongino's tweet as like, great, this is awesome. I'm glad that we're going in that direction. But what are you going to do about it? Are you actually going to reveal information? Are you actually going to share this type of content with the public? Because if you don't, then this is just words. It's easy to type out a tweet. It's a lot harder to actually deliver the goods.
I think I don't think he can avoid it now, right? I mean, he said, what I've learned in the course of our properly predicated and necessary investigation into these aforementioned matters has shocked me down to my core. We cannot run a republic like this. I'll never be the same after learning what I've learned. After he wrote that, how can we not expect some sort of accountability, transparency just to that line alone?
Well, look, I mean, this is what happened with the Epstein files, right? Where we had libs of TikTok and DC Drano and all these other conservative personalities go to the White House with those folders and be like, hey, look, here's what's to come. We've got, this is the beginning. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, there actually is nothing. So, I mean, it's entirely possible that, you know, they might fumble this and just be like, oh, actually, you know, what I saw really wasn't that big a deal, or like, there actually wasn't anything for me to see. So let's move along. I think that would be fundamentally one of the most stupid things they could do. And I don't think the Bongino is stupid enough to do that, but there might be pressures from within the admin. There might be pressures from within the deep state to be a little bit more inclined towards, let's just not reveal this information and hope it blows over. I think, again, Bongino would be incredibly foolish to go along with that, given that he has an out, given that he is, like I said, more than capable of going back into talk radio, more than capable of rebuilding that brand, or in fact, building on that brand, given what he's done. But again, you never know. They might just decide that no, this information cannot be made public.
All right. Well, listen. All right. If he goes back to radio, we can't have this hour back. Our third hour was his first hour. We can't have it back. Ken and I are holding on to it with all our strength. But I mean, when he says stuff like, as with any investigation, I cannot predict where it will land, but I can promise you an honest, dignified effort at the truth. Not my truth, not your truth, but the truth. I mean, that is such a powerful statement that you're right. He either lets this out or goes back to radio, but not this hour. Yeah.
Right. And I think you've definitely hit on the fact that it's well written. You've hit on the fact that it's very inspiring. You've hit on the fact that this is like great content in terms of like the words that he's putting out there. But at the end of the day, the American people are sick of this like, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. We're going to do all these things. And then it just doesn't happen. Like, talk is cheap. It's very easy to say all of the right things. And I think that we're not fans of just the talk anymore. It needs to be the action. Now, there's a good thing, obviously, that this administration has been very good on voting stuff. Obviously, from our perspective here at Public Interest Legal Foundation, electoral content and electoral policy has been very solid. We've seen the Republicans be very, very good on that. However, I mean, there are certain other things that the admin, from a more of a conservative commentator perspective, hasn't been so good on. I think the Epstein files are prime amongst them. So there's room to do things, and I think Bongino clearly understands that this needs to be done. He wouldn't have put out that statement otherwise, but it is up to him to actually deliver on these flowery, powerful statements of, this investigation is necessary. This investigation will come down to the truth. But if the truth isn't shown to the public, it's not very good at doing whatever it was supposed to be doing.
All right. We have a few minutes left, Doug. Let's talk about race in America. I don't know how.
Just race in America? We have a few minutes.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right. Stop making fun of me, okay? But let's all right, so let's pinpoint it, okay? Let's pinpoint it to what Ken calls an eternal racist, Joy Reid.
Got to be honest and keep it real. This is not the pick that I expected that she would make. It did come down to the final three, as we understand it, and I thought she would go astronaut. Keeping it real, he to me would have been the safest, most conventionally safe pick. White, super white, like mayonnaise sandwich on Wonder Bread, white. From a border state, he could have made a strong argument for her.
Doug, I posted this on X, and there are some strong negative opinions of Joy Reid, and some of which I'm even considering possibly deleting that post, because some of the stuff that's coming out from people, they're very angry at that remark. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Joy Reid is like, she's not a good person. I think that, when you have these people that so flippantly dismiss white people using like white bread, mayo, it's not conducive to a functioning society. I actually wrote about this for my Substack recently, where it's kind of uncomfortable how phenomenally fine the left is now with saying things like just visceral, violent, vile things about white people. I think that you're right that, you should be thinking about whether or not this content should stay up, because I honestly, one of the things I think is an issue with us too, is that we keep highlighting them, is that we keep like putting the spotlight on these people. It's like, well, look at this. And it's like, well, the more we give them this time, the more that we put them out in front and center, the more they're going to keep doing it, because they know that this is their brand now, and they know that they can get attention from it. Joy Reid's entire shtick is that she says vile things about white people, and then, people give her more attention, and she makes money because, advertisers love all that ad revenue from somebody that's going to be, always being talked about. So I mean, I think that it's just the more that we allow these people to sort of flounder in the darkness, and the more we shove them into the side and basically be like, well, that's not acceptable, we're just not going to platform you, the better it is.
Well, people black or white, it doesn't matter. I think people are weary of all this. And the reason why I posted it is because she kept saying in this piece that we just played for you, I'm just keeping it real. Just keeping it real. And I posted, well, if white people are mayonnaise on white bread, ultra white bread, then what are black people? And I meant to get an answer. and that's all it was. So that's why I'm considering removing it, because it is some very derogatory stuff that I did not like and did not intend. But the point is made. Just keeping it real, Joy.
Yeah, and I think that you have a great point too, that like one of the things that's a difference between the right and the left is that you feel guilty about some of the things that people are posting. Again, it's not your fault. It's not your responsibility to be like, okay, my Twitter feed is a safe space. We're not going to do all of that, right? Like obviously that's not your job.
No.
But you feel guilty about that and you are expressing that publicly, which is good. I mean, I think that it shows that you're a man of character. Whereas if Joy Reid was to post something similar on her own Twitter feed and then get these vile anti-white responses, I think you would find that she would be like either egging it on, encouraging it to be like, oh yeah, you're right. Like these mayo monkeys, it's terrible.
Exactly
and I think that is where the problem lies, that, you know, one side of the aisle is punished for this and feels guilty about that type of content being put out there. And the other side revels in it.
And I just, you know, it's this is where we land, right? When I say let's talk about race in America, this is where we've landed, where a actual racist in Joy Reid can say mayonnaise sandwich on Wonder Bread, but we're not even allowed to think of something that would be equated to blacks.
Exactly.
You know, so it's
and that was my point. Actually,
no,
Doug,
it's a great point.
Yeah, that was my point. I can say exactly what you just said, Joy, and listen to how it sounds, because it's not right, and it's not right you saying it. It's not right anybody saying that.
Yeah, no. And I mean, one of the things too that I don't think they anticipate, or maybe they did, this is the entire point, is that when you hyper focus on race and you hyper focus on the idea that we are actually not compatible based on, you know, very skin deep issues, to, you know, pardon the pun, but like, if you can't do that, then the society that we live in just doesn't function, right? Like, this is one of the reasons that I always find it very frustrating when people say things like, oh, we're going to have a national divorce. We're going to have a divorce between the Republicans and the Democrats. We're going to have a divorce between the right and the left. And we're just going to split the country. Okay, but that doesn't work, because, I mean, we're already so integrated when it comes to, you know, the left and the right living in cities together, or the left and the right living in, you know, rural communities together. And that same thing happens with race. You know, there's black people everywhere. There's white people everywhere. There's Latinos everywhere. You can't just say, like, we're going to parse this thing out based on these differences that, you know, don't work. And I find it very frustrating when these people say things like, oh, you know, we're going to hyper focus on black identity, but if you focus on white identity, that's a problem. And then get really shocked when, you know, white supremacists actually start to rise, because, I mean, you've taught them that their identity is the only thing that matters. And of course that's going to cause tension. Like, what do they think is going to happen?
Yeah, I just deleted it.
Did you?
Yeah, I just did. I just did. You know, it was getting away from my point.
No, I get it.
And I didn't like it.
Sure. No, and I think that's totally fair. And I respect you immensely as you know, somebody who has that integrity to be like, hey, this didn't go exactly the way that I wanted it to.
All right.
I don't like this, so
don't give him a big head. He's not that great. Doug Blair, thank you so much, buddy. We'll talk next week.
All right, see you next week, guys.
See you, Doug.
It's crazy. It's crazy that Joy Reid can say whatever she wants.
Yeah.
But you do the Tony Colombo flip test on that, and somebody's out of a job. Well, she is out of a job.
Yeah, well, she is. So, yeah. And I just wanted to keep it real, you know, as she put it, and I did, and there we go.
Yeah. I still have it. You deleted it, but I still have it.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Don't use any of those phrases that you say.
No.
Bad.
No.
All right, we'll talk to the chat box, folks, next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. The Vic Porcelli Show.
By the way, it used to make beer brewed here. It is used to make the brew beer here in this refinery. Oh, Earth Rider, thanks for the Great Lakes. I wonder what.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL. Larry Connors USA.
With every Larry Connors USA program, you're going to get news, analysis, opinion, and education.
Larry Connors USA. Now, weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
From home improvement to replacement, do-it-yourself electrical projects can be Shocking. That's where Grasser Electric can help. They've been lighting up St. Louis for years. From ceiling fans and dimmer switches to repair or replacing your electric. No job is too big or too small for your home or business. Grasser Electric will even install emergency backup generators. So call Grasser Electric today before the sparks start to fly. 636-441-5200 or go to grasserelectric.com.
Jamie Allman here, tossing and turning over retirement worries. You're not alone. 3 out of 4 Americans share your concern about having enough saved. But here's the thing. A comfortable retirement isn't out of reach, even if you're planning for 30 or 40 years ahead. Every day, Jeff Portman from the Gemini Wealth Group helps people avoid the critical mistakes that can derail their retirement. Build your path to financial confidence. Visit GeminiWealthGroup.com or call Jeff directly at 314-888-0123.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA, SIPC.
Hey, it's Vic Porcelli, and my favorite sandwich from Capriati's is the Wagyu beef French dip. So good. It's the au jus that makes it. And the Wagyu beef is pretty good, too. I love Capriati's, and you will, too.
On Manchester at McKnight in Rock Hill. Hi, I'm Connie Britton. I support Feeding America because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year. Learn more at feedingamerica.org. Feeding America. 200 food banks strong.
Whoosh.
Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Court will take a 60-minute recess for lunch.
Your Honor, I respectfully request a full day's continuance to go over all this stuff.
Don't you cuss on this here radio.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
All right, Ken, we're late. Let's get right to it. Let's do
go,
some
buddy.
chat box stuff, starting with Ed Stoit, who says, #1 union member. In case you missed it, our chat box people unionized.
Oh, and I have to post Ed Stoit's union card. I forgot. I have that, actually.
The National Brotherhood of Chat Boxers, Local 1019, something like that. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. No election.
No peace.
No fair tariffs.
No peace.
Good morning, Vic and Ken. Thank you. Hiya, Ed, meaning Ed Stoit. Got a request for more Howard Cosell, so we're going to do this like Howard Cosell. Good morning, all you beautiful, MAGA, ultra-patriotic, deplorable, Carthaginian, degenerate, freedom-fighting, God-fearing Vic-head weirdos. Wish. Good morning, all my freedom-fighting patriot Vic-heads. Wish my brothers and sisters. Hey there. Be back commenting later. Have to listen and drive for a bit. I think that's against the union rules, Ed. I think you got to get permission from your shop steward for that. I'm not overly religious myself, but I'm praying for Dan Bongino's safety. Eek. Now that he's released that tweet, Ken?
Yeah. He threw down the gauntlet on that one.
I don't think anybody can get to Dan Bongino. Do you?
Anybody can get to anybody. And I think even Trump, to be honest with you.
Even if he was unguarded, I think it'd take a lot to take down Dan Bongino.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think somebody can get to him.
Do you think there's going to be another assassination attempt on Mr. President Trump?
I don't know, Vic. I think they need to act like, yes, there could be.
Yeah, I guess so. Man, this is Duke. Man, it's been tough working out in this hot, humid weather every day from morning to night. I have lost a lot of weight. That's good. So I got that going for me.
Wow, Duke. I don't envy that, man.
Oh, we have a disturbance in the ranks. Who elected Ed Stoit as union president? No fair elections.
No peace.
So the union's got to have another election to find out if Ed is actually.
Maybe we can have an online election there in the chat box.
101 says he appointed himself. Tyrannical behavior, I say. President Trump was like a parent correcting a child, which was Powell. Jerome Powell looked like he just wanted to run away.
He kept shaking his head no.
Loved it.
Kept shaking his head.
Loved it. Oh, Ed says, hey, Barry, you snooze, you lose.
Yeah.
He fixed the election. The Russians rigged the union election in our chat box. What kind of work do you do? I'm a retired auto mechanic, never worked in an AC shop. Oh my God. 95 degrees day, 95 degree days plus 400 degrees coming off the engines. Oh my God, you guys. Ken, you need a bug assault gun for that fly. Did you ever see the bug assault gun?
Yeah. I always wanted to get one of those.
You need one.
Yeah.
So, anyway. Yep, that's the guy. That's the guy. Ken, can you I don't know what to do here. Can you put this computer on up?
Yeah.
Because 101 says, "Yo, Vic, try this guy." Can you? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you got to get rid of that.
Right, maybe we can do this. I don't know. Try now, Ken.
Yep.
Okay. So we've been saying that this version of Johnny B. Good is so great, and I think this is the guy.
Yeah, that's him. Immediately, I knew that.
Cool looking guy. Oh yeah.
You got to send that to me. Send me the link. That's cool.
We play it.
Oh, I know, but I want to see it.
Got it. He's badass, man.
And we'll post it onto the chat box as well.
Can I tell you what I do? This is how weird and goofy I do. I see that, and then I just play this.
Oh.
And then I go back and I play it again. This is what I do at home. Swear to God.
Yeah.
So I think that is the most important opening of any song in the history of rock and roll, okay?
Yeah.
There's
yeah,
nothing
I agree
better.
with that. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So we found it. Thank you, 101 Straight Up. I've been fixing my boom truck. I have a construction company doing home repair, remodel, concrete, pools, landscaping, and tree trimming. All right. Is your truck at least under a roof? It's way too hot to be out in the sun all day. I love how people care about each other in the chat box there. That's hard work, isn't it? Stay hydrated, my friend.
Yeah, my truck it doesn't have air conditioning, and I leave the windows rolled down when I park it.
Randy may be able to help you. My friend Randy may be able to help you there.
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everyone. That's Allison. How you doing? All Muslims are not Islamist extremists, but all Islamic extremists are Muslim.
Yes, exactly right.
Cindifer says, "Don't cry, Vic, baby. I can't take it. I'm sorry. Ken, I was thinking about not doing that, not talking about the parallels that I saw in Billy Joel and my son, with getting bullied in school.
Right. But you want people to know that. You want everybody to know.
But if I do, that's what happens. And Cindifer doesn't like when I cry.
Well, no, I understand that completely. I don't either. But it's but there's nothing. Okay, Vic, whenever I have to do introductions for my wife and my daughter sometimes, and it gets to me. I mean, it really gets to you, especially if you really get involved talking about something about your child. It's tough.
You're right. 101 Straight Up says, more Howard Cosell, Vic, more. Maybe it's just me, but up until Tyler Gray, today's show has been sort of a weird mess. What the hell? Kind of like a Jackson Pollock painting. Maybe that's what we're going for.
Yeah.
Blue Train Bebop.
That's right.
Billy Crystal does do a great Howard Cosell. As long as big pharmacy runs healthcare, we'll all be sick. Banks and the feds run businesses, we'll be in debt. Governor of war will never allow peace. Nations run by media never get the truth. Boy, that's some pretty profound stuff there. Oh my God.
Did you see what's her name? Randy Weingarten. She just announced a partnership with the World Economic Forum.
Yeah,
you see that?
Yeah.
She wants to do an American child curriculum for grade school through the World Economic Forum. What the hell?
Not good. Are any of the folks coming to Missouri? If not, why not? Because St. Louis is a leftist-run stuff hole. Leftists are NIMBY, not my backyard. Hypocrites.
Oh, that's when we were talking about Martha's Vineyard, yeah.
Yeah, I was very glad to hear DeSantis say that, but I don't need no governor telling me that I have the right to protect my family from scumbags trying to cause us harm.
But I'm glad that there was a leader of a state to say that.
Yeah. As long as the swamp doesn't suicide Dan Bongino, I would not put it past them.
Yeah.
We want to move to Missouri, but now the prices have skyrocketed, not feasible with current interest rates. we would only go south or west of STL if we did.
That's gonna. I think if you hold tight for a few more months, that's going to change. Interest rates are going to go down.
The Iran Revolution movement started this weekend in Munich, Germany. 50,000 IRGC have defected to the revolution. I'm very empathetic. I cry anytime someone else does. Oh, I'm sorry. So I made you cry. That's great. Now you're really breaking my heart. But thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm not union president. I'm business manager. Oh, so Barry, you could still be the president of the International Union of Chat Boxers Local 1019.
Yeah, if you look at his card that I posted up there, it doesn't say president, I don't think.
Oh, okay. So we have to have a vote. Randy says, fix your AC. I can. Randy, I'll help you. Russia's story is how DJT will get a third term. What makes the cost of living higher for everyday Americans are tariffs? No disrespect to Rob Bluey. That was the chief, Army chief, Navy chief. Our choice for president just keeps on rolling. Promises made, promises kept. Good morning, freedom fighters. Happy Monday, gents and fellow Vic heads. Monday monkey shines with my Vic head family. What does that mean?
I like it. I don't know what it is, but I like it.
It's our friend Dave Stouffer. Why would we sell them our military equipment? Why wouldn't we instead open up our car manufacturing plants once again and sell them vehicles made in the USA?
Well, this is the whole thing. Is they have all these different economies are opening up to it now, which they've never done before.
Right.
That's what's great about it.
Kathleen asks, where do you find the documentary on Billy Joel? I'm 99.9% sure it's on HBO or HBO Go Max. No, Max used to be HBO.
Yeah,
Go,
Max. Yeah.
Good morning, all you Vic heads and smart people, for listening to this show. Oh, thanks, Janice. Did you ever tune in to the other stations? Why would they? Boring. Have a great week.
Doggy deli, man. It sure is hot out there.
Janice, what are you doing? There are no other radio stations. This is it. Good morning. Amy's back from Boston. Enjoying a day off from work. Missed you all last week. Missed you.
Hey, how you doing?
Good morning, Ken. Love you. What the hell?
Oh.
Kristen
Oh, my
Lee.
sister.
Oh, love you, Ken. Yeah.
Hi, sis.
Hi, sis. Don't forget to hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Do us a favor. Hit the like button.
Yeah.
Yeah. Delta smelt fish are the fish you were thinking of.
Oh, the smelt fish. That's right.
Yes. The smelt.
Yes.
The lovely Boylan sisters. We love our Vic and Ken too much. Bongino can't have his time slap back. That's right. Thank you, Kathleen. Appreciate that.
I want to be clear.
Who incited that election, union election? Ed Stoit, I think, tyrannically made himself the president, and then Barry Biggs wants a vote on it. So you guys figure that out yourself. We're management. You're the rank and file. All the whiners on Rumble. I work outside with hot asphalt, 350 rocks. Oh my God. I'm sorry, guys, that you have to go through all that. Yes, hit that like button, please. Help us out. Listen to our podcast, available wherever podcasts are found. Nick Schroer is going to be with us tomorrow, right off the bat, Ken. 9:05.
Yeah.
And we're going to get some answers on yet. Because I still, they can't keep saying, oh, we're going to get rid of income tax in this state. No more personal property tax.
You're right.
And then when did that happen? Oh, no, that's right. Here's some more tax for you to pay for a stadium in Kansas City.
Exactly. And that's where I was saying earlier about how here in Missouri, we have a super majority, and yet we can't get this stuff passed.
Yeah.
Then they keep saying, and I know, and we'll talk, we can hold Nick's feet, Senator Schroer's feet to the fire as well, and discuss it with him. And he's willing to. He's in the same opinion, I think, that we are, is like, what's happening? Why is it not happening immediately? It should be.
When you're an honest person and you run for some sort of public elected official, you really get a good look at what's dishonest and not right about America.
Yeah.
Not just local, not just state, federal and, U.S. senators, U.S. representatives. Is that time right, Ken?
Yeah.
So, we'll talk to Nick about that and get some answers from that. Thank you guys so much for all the great comments. Cindifer, I'm sorry I made you cry. I didn't mean to do that. When I cry, she cries.
Yeah, well, there's nothing you can do about it, Vic. But one thing you made here, that you were talking about management versus the rank and file.
Yes.
We're rank and file. They are the management, I think. And so because they will decide on what happens here.
Huh. So we're the union?
Yeah, well, no, they're the union, but they are also in an odd way the managers.
Ken, I am not following you at all. You're either on the union or you're on management.
You're right, but there's,
they wouldn't have a chat box if it wasn't for us.
I know, but still, they decide. I like the card.
That's a great card. I can't read it; it's too small.
I know. I had to enlarge it. I made it larger. It'll shift here.
When you listen to the radio, who brings you the comments? Chat box. Remember Jimmy Hoffa?
Yeah.
Was saying, who brings you the food? Truckers. Who brings you the comments? Chat box. All right, so you guys figure out your little, leadership problem there, and let us know. I want the report on my desk tomorrow at night. All right. Thanks for having the record player on at night. Listen to us this morning.
Make sure you have the record player on at night.
Jamie Ullman and his 3-martini lunch. Up next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home and have a good day.
Whoosh.
Tony Colombo here for my dentist, Dr. Matt Boscia at New Creation Dental Care, the one-stop shop for all your family's dental needs. And Dr. Boscia is always expanding his services, now including the incredible all-on-4 full arch implant procedure, full mouth restoration that can give you back your smile in as little as 1 day. No more suffering with damaged or missing teeth or poor-fitting dentures. You can see some amazing smile makeovers, learn more about the all-on-4 procedure, and see everything Dr. Boscia can do right now at newcreationdentalcare.com.
Hey, if you're 50 or older, you do not want to take any risk with your money. In fact, you want Leslie Consulting. My friend Bob Leslie can show you a gain and retain plan. Means that you never lose. Plus, you get up to a 20% bonus on day one. Leslie Consulting, a leader in brokerage and risk management. 314-721-0066. LeslieConsulting.com.
This is Mark Harder with RE/MAX Results, the #1 RE/MAX franchise in the region. As a licensed real estate broker with RE/MAX Results for over 20 years, I've seen the ups and downs of many real estate markets, including the one we're in right now. With the spring market in full swing, now is the time to leap into the buying or selling of your home. Someday is not a day. Today is the day to make your move. Call me at 314-852-8933 or email me at markhardersells@gmail.com.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, and always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Top trade officials from China and the United States have arrived in Stockholm for a new round of talks aimed at easing trade tensions. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Chinese Vice Premier He Lifeng are meeting at the offices of Sweden's prime minister. The U.S. and EU have reached a tariff deal. Mike Hempen reports.
The United States and European Union have agreed to a trade framework that establishes a set tariff on most goods. 15%. President Trump says the agreement averts a trade war that could have sent shockwaves through economies around the world. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen says the deal rebalances the trade relationship between the U.S. and EU.
I think we hit exactly the point we wanted to find.